Hail, Layersons. Welcome back to the Wyvern's Lair. I am Dungeon Master Wyvern, returning, well, actually, embarking upon a grand new adventure here on here in the Mega Dungeon of the Wyvern's Lair. So, for those of you who've been following the channel for years now, you will know that I am a huge lover of deep computer role-playing games, most especially in recent days the Owlcat games that have come out over the last several years, including Pathfinder Kingmaker, Wrath of the Righteous, and Rogue Trader. All great CRPGs from the good developers at Owlcat Studios. And we are on the threshold of something very exciting, once again, from Owlcat. We are in the midst of the beta for Dark Heresy, Warhammer 40,000 Dark Heresy, the next outing from Owlcat Studios in the Warhammer 40,000 universe and IP. Very exciting stuff. I've been seeing my good friend Slandered Gaming showcase both the alpha and beta over on his YouTube channel, and I just got the bug to dive into another great computer role-playing game myself. For the last year, I have had the privilege of leading a fantastic guild on the time-locked progression server Fangbreaker for EverQuest, and I look forward to discovering more of what's ahead in that journey. But I don't want to stray too far from my roots here. I love computer role-playing games. That is the foundation of this channel, and I want to find a way to get back to that experience that I enjoy, and I know many of you who have followed this channel for many years enjoy as well. So, with that preamble out of the way, I just want to take a moment, and I would like to encourage, especially our US-based viewers, to have a thought this Memorial Day. It is May 25th, 2026. This is Memorial Day here in the United States, a day to honor those who paid the ultimate sacrifice for us in uniform for our freedoms here in this country. So please take a moment and put some thought towards the heroic fallen. And let me go ahead and preview the adventure that we have in front of us this evening. So Warhammer 40,000 Dark Heresy is an entirely new CRPG from Owlcat Studios. It is not a simple sequel to Rogue Trader. It's a very different type of game experience and story. In Rogue Trader, you were an all-powerful captain of a void ship with tremendous privileges and powers, unlike few in the Imperium could enjoy. While in Dark Heresy, from what I understand, you play a much more humble role, at least initially, as an acolyte within the Inquisition. So I'm going to go ahead and read out what we have here in terms of the Steam preview. Become an acolyte of the Inquisition in this grim, dark, party-based, story-driven CRPG. Lead investigations, uncover grand conspiracies, master tactical combat, and wage a secret war against heresy. Make tough choices as a conduit of the God Emperor's will. That sounds incredibly exciting. I think we shouldn't delay any further. Let's jump right in and start exploring Dark Heresy for ourselves. So, with that out of the way, we will head into our game scene, which should be all set up properly, I'm hoping. And there it is. Let me go ahead and lower the master volume a little bit so it's not that loud. I think 15% is going to be good. Let's try 20%, I think is going to be good for us. Let me know if it's a little loud for you guys. But that seems to be a comfortable range for me. I'm going to go ahead and save that. Go to game. I'm going to X out of that, and I don't think there's a way to watch the cutscene here, so we're just going to go ahead and start a new game. So we can select. But you know what? It's a little loud for my liking. It's a little loud. All right, that's a little better for me. We'll keep it at 8%. All right. So here we are in the initial selection menu. Here we have Dark Warhammer 40,000 Dark Heresy. We can start a new game. We can tweak our settings. We can exit the game, and we also have a little blurb here from the developers at Owlcat. Acolyte, the Inquisition values your judgment. Lend your voice to the beta survey and help us forge the trials that lie ahead. Every observation is a blade against imperfection. Wield it well. So this is something that Owlcat has really become especially known for. Going back all the way to Pathfinder Kingmaker, Owlcat has had sort of a conversation between early players and their developers in the way of fine-tuning their games. So Kingmaker, Wrath of the Righteous, Rogue Trader, they all had these extended beta periods where Owlcat was collecting feedback, both submitted and also through telemetry of players experiencing their betas, which informed final development for their titles. I think it's a highly effective way to go about game development. Glad to see it over here. Once again with Dark Heresy. With that, let's go ahead and launch a new game. So here we have a number of different difficulty settings. We could go custom, we can go story, normal, daring, and hard. And obviously this tweaks all kinds of variables to customize the sort of play experience that you're particularly drawn towards with your CRPGs. For the sake of this playthrough, we're going to go with normal, and it reads as such. Normal difficulty designed for players unfamiliar with the base game systems or those who play tactical games and CRPGs infrequently. The stats and modifiers of enemies in the game environment are slightly reduced. Ooh. No, we're going to go with daring. All right. Daring difficulty level demands that players possess a solid grasp of the base game systems or extensive experience in analogous tactical games or CRPGs. The stats and modifiers of enemies in the game environment are balanced, and that's sort of what I was drawn to. I do want something in the way of a balanced playthrough here, so we're going to go with daring difficulty. I have no doubt that the beta probably isn't, well tuned as far as difficulty is concerned. So, we might be in for some interesting combat encounters, but so be it. So we're going to go ahead and continue. And here we have a number of portraits we can select for our character. So we have this gentleman over here, and obviously each of these selections not only dictates your character portrait, but also sort of a full body illustration of your character too. So we're just going to go and hover over the possibilities that we have here. All of them very evocative for the type of character that you might be envisioning in your mind. I'm going to go with this one for the sake of this playthrough. I like the look of this acolyte with all this sort of religious iconography on him, along with this book and this weapon he has in his arm, so his hand. So we're going to go with this guy over here. Now we can select the voice. We got a pragmatic female voice, pragmatic male, zealous female. I don't know if he sounds zealous or insane.
I am the bringer of his punishment. Your doom approaches, heretics. Faith drives me.
But you know what? We're going to go with the zealous male. I think that's going to be sort of the personality of our character. So we're going to go ahead and make that selection over here. Hey, we got Regina out there in the Stygian Abyss saying, these look awesome. Hey, man. Thanks so much for dropping by, and once again, I hope you and your family had a good day in front of you. I know you had plans to take your kids to the cemetery and lay some wreaths, which I think is, absolutely the right thing to do in a day like this, especially for, really for anyone in this country, for that matter. So I hope it was a good day, good morning. Welcome to Warhammer 40,000 Dark Heresy. I'm excited for this. And yeah, no, so far so good. I mean, the presentation's superb. So let's go ahead, click next. And now we can select an archetype. And we have a description of what they are. An archetype reflects the character's path of development, who they were, and who they will become. Each archetype defines the character's key abilities, which abilities they will use in combat, which skills will help resolve difficulties during travels, or how their special abilities will improve. An archetype is divided into ranks, each of which allows choosing a new ability or talent, improving them, or increasing the skill or characteristic score. So we can choose warrior, officer, operative, soldier, or mystic. Now, obviously, I could take the time to go through all these various archetypes. However, because we do want to get to the playthrough here, we got Sekna Gaming out there in the Stygian Abyss of Twitch saying, "Look at this nerd, all Warhammering." Indeed, I am Warhammering this Memorial Day, Sekna. A little treat for myself with Warhammer 40,000 Dark Heresy. Good to see you out there, man. How have you been? And have you played any of these Warhammer games yourself? Are you familiar with Rogue Trader by any chance? We're going to go with Mystic. The Mystic is a sanctioned psyker who delves deep into the powers of the warp. They're able to push their own power far beyond the limits of other less skilled psykers and gain access to a wider variety of abilities. So you can see that it shows what they can do. So it shows that, you know, they're powerful. Well, yeah, that is interesting. So, yeah, we will go with Mystic. We will go with Mystic. And we have the following ability, Push. Before the Mystic uses the next psychic power, Veil Degradation is increased by +3. I think that's a typo, because I think in actuality, I think Veil Degradation goes down. Perhaps I'm wrong. Sekna says, I have not. Well, excellent, Sekna. You can discover these games with me, hopefully. So once again, we're selecting Mystic as our archetype, and we're pushing along here. And now we can choose a specialization. At this archetype rank, the characters can select a specialization. So we can choose Pyromancy, Sanctic, or Telekinesis. I'm going to choose Sanctic, and we get the following ability with Sanctic. Shield of the Emperor. The character creates an aura that increases morale and defense of all allies who come into contact with it. The Sanctic manifests the image of the God Emperor next to them and gains the God Emperor's shield effect for 3 rounds. If an ally appears within the Sanctic's influence while the ability is active, that ally also gains the same effect for 1 round. And it's a willpower scaled ability, and we get the following stat increases with the archetype of Sanctic. We get +5 to Fellowship, which determines the character's presence, assertiveness, and ability to influence those around him. We get a +5 to Willpower, which determines the character's mental resilience, and I believe it's also the key stat for psychic abilities. We also get Strength, Tenacity. This combat skill aids in overcoming physical restraints, immobilization, and other debilitating conditions. We also get Willpower Metal. This combat skill allows one to resist hostile mental influences. So we're going to go with Sanctic. And now we can choose an origin. Before the Inquisition took you in, you led a very different existence. It was that past life that provided you with the very skills that first brought you to the Inquisition's attention, prompting them to make you part of the most powerful organization in the Imperium. Your character's origins grant you a bonus to 1 characteristic, 3 modifiers to abilities, an active keystone ability, 3 talents that can be selected as the character gains additional levels, several specializations that can be selected as the character gains additional levels, and a choice of origin variant. So here we have Astra Militarum, Imperial Noble, Criminal, but we cannot select any of these because we must select Sanctioned Psyker as our origin. Alright, and it reads as such. So we have, if we choose Sanctic Psyker, we get Fetter. Right before the character uses the next psychic power, Veil Degradation will be reduced by -4. That psychic power does not trigger the psychic phenomena or perils of the warp. If the Psyker's morale is 5 or greater, they will successfully defend against the next projectile or melee strike. Lasts until triggered or until the start of their next turn. So that's interesting. So our morale's 5 or greater, we get a really nice perk defending against a projectile or melee attack. Not bad. All right. And we also get the following bonuses. We get +5 to willpower, +5 to perception, +10 to lore warp. This well, this will go ahead and read perception here. This characteristic determines the character's ability to use their senses. It affects vital damage, adding perception bonuses to its total. We got lore warp here. This non-combat skill reflects one's knowledge of any phenomena, individual, or event related to warp and psychic powers. We also get +10 to resistance, to toughness resistance. This combat skill represents the body's ability to resist harmful effects, improving chances of avoiding being poisoned by toxins and crippled by critical effects. So we're going to go ahead and choose Sanctioned Psyker next. And now we can choose a further specializations. We have Pyromancy and Telekinesis. I'm going to go ahead and choose Pyromancy. And do we get a little description for Pyromancy up here? No, but we do know that we get Firestorm. Each unit in a 2-cell radius around the target cell suffers willpower bonus plus perception bonus plus fail degradation damage and must pass a reflexes test with a -8 penalty or suffer 8 levels of burning. So that sounds pretty dang good as far as an area effect attack. And we also get the further modifiers with Pyromancy. We get +5 to willpower, +5 to perception, +10 to agility reflexes. This combat skill enables evading potential threats in dangerous areas, additionally improving one's chances of avoiding bleeding. We also get +10 to demolition. This non-combat skill represents the ability to use various explosive devices and can affect the damage of Imperium-made grenades and explosives. So, cool. We're going to go with that. And now we got to choose a homeworld. The world where a character begins their path leaves an indelible mark upon them. The planet's type, rulers, climate, and other qualities are what shapes not only the individual's body, but also their soul. Your character's homeworld grants you a passive keystone ability, bonuses to 2 characteristics and 2 skills, 4 modifiers to abilities, and 4 talents that can be selected as the character gains additional levels. So we have Hive World, we got Death World, and Forge World. Interesting. So, Forge World says the character gains morale when their armor is high or extra movement when their armor is low. Hive World provides the character gains morale while adjacent to allies or extra movement while isolated. And the Death World reads, the chance to suffer critical effects is significantly reduced. If resisted successfully, the character gains morale. I like that. We do want high morale, so we're going to go with Death World. And we're going to get a +5 to toughness, +5 to perception, and +10 to toughness resistance. So that sounds good, and we're going to get the following modifications. Death World Paranoia. The selected ability scales on toughness and perception instead of characteristic bonuses. Death World Always on Your Guard. The target's damage reduction is increased by +4 for 1 round. Death World Kill or Be Killed. This attack deals +7% more damage for each stage of a critical effect suffered by the Death World character. And Death World Weak Must Perish. The target must pass a metal test or suffer -2 morale. So we're going to go with Death World. It's our home world here, and now we have to select our particular Death World. All right. On Death Worlds, the plants, beasts, and sometimes even the environment itself takes aggressive and destructive forms inimical to human life. While exceptionally difficult to colonize, many of these planets possess valuable resources that require a permanent human presence, whether an outpost or other form of settlement, to harvest them. Those who survive these harsh conditions are rightly considered among the hardiest populations in the galaxy. Each type of death world grants you a bonus to one skill. So we can choose radioactive wastelands, we can choose jungle, we can choose volcanicity, toxic wastelands, or frozen wastes. Frozen waste would be probably the most beneficial. It gives us plus 10 to tenacity, which stacks to the previous bonus. So we could go with that. But before we do that, I just want to very quickly explore what could it be if I were to select Forge World. Alright, so it just basically, it's pretty straightforward. You select Forge World and that's it. But Death World actually has this interesting little extra little bit. So we're going to go with Frozen Waste as our actual Death World for this character. And we're going to move on. Alright, so now we can invest in our characteristics. Hey, we got Kaz out there in the Stygian Abyss saying Citadel Paints. Exactly. Doesn't it remind you of Citadel Paints? Kaz, good to have you out there. Alright, characteristics determine the character's strengths and weaknesses and influence their combat abilities, the effectiveness of skills, and the playstyle. They affect attack, defense, survivability, exploration of the world, and interaction with the environment. At the beginning of the game, the character has 6 points to distribute among characteristics, investing no more than 2 points into each. Later, upon reaching certain levels, it will be possible to increase characteristic scores further, but each characteristic can be improved no more than 4 times. That's good to know. So we got to be very thoughtful with what we invest here. So as you can see, willpower is a really important stat for our character, so we're just going to go ahead and invest in that. Perception. Potentially a useful stat for us. So we can see how these bonuses stack. We got a number of bonuses for perception here, so let's go ahead and invest in that. And this is where we really got to think about what we're doing here. Do we want to invest in toughness? Or do we want to invest in weapon skill? We also could invest potentially into strength as well, because, let's see, yeah, 40. Our strength and toughness are kind of behind. Let's go back to specializations here and see what we can see here. So we can take a look at the progression here. We should probably take a look at the progression here. So this is the Pyromancy progression. So we got Blaze Weaver. Let's got to figure out what Burning Rage. Let's see, specialization, Sanctic, progression lock. That's what I want to take a look at. The Sanctic melee weapon is blessed and deals plus 5 additional damage for 5 rounds. Okay, and then we got God Emperor's Palm, Purifying Flame. So it does look like I feel like it may be worth it for us to invest a little bit into at least weapon skill. Or you know what? We could just try and add some toughness, because we got the that Death World thing going, and slowly level up our weapon skill and strength as we go along here. Yeah, let's try that. Let's try that. We got perception, we got willpower, we got toughness, for survivability, and then we'll invest in weapon skill and strength as we go along here. Alright, so now we should be able to modify our appearance. So we're going to go ahead and choose this guy. He's seen some stuff. He's got some scars on his face. Body type is looking good. Skin tone is looking good. We can give him several haircuts. I'm going to take you guys very quickly to the hairstyles we have on offer. Actually, I do like that. I like the mohawk, so we're going to stick with that. Give ourselves those bushy eyebrows there. We are not going to give ourselves any facial hair, but we will give ourselves gnarly tattoos. Yeah, that looks good. Tattoo color looks good. We're also going to give ourselves... We can give ourselves various augmentations. I can take you through the augmentations that we have on offer very quickly. All very cool. All very grimdark and Warhammer 40,000-y. But we're going to go with this one, I think. Alright. That is looking good. Hey, what happened to my cool things here? Thought I had... There we go. That's what I was looking for. Alright. I think that's looking good. We're going to click on next. We're going to give ourselves a name. We're going to call ourselves Wyvern. Hey, look at that. Who we have out there in the Stygian abyss of YouTube? None other than my great friend Joker Soul Dragon saying, how goes the DM Wyvern's Lair? Looking good today. Hey, man, thanks so much for dropping by. How have you been, Joker? Are you excited for Dark Heresy as well? I know I am. So, we got our character set up now. We have our home world assigned. It's a death world. Our origin is that of a sanctioned psyker. And our archetype is that of a mystic. Man, I hope I've chosen my archetype well. Let's take a look at what we got here. Psychic Weapons Master, Force Weapons Deal. Okay, cool. So that's where we can get probably a lot of our damage. Maybe we ignore strength and we just pour points into weapon skill and willpower. Maybe that is the play there. So yeah, we're kind of going into this blind. It's probably going to be less than optimized, but you know what? That is a-okay. So here we are. Here's our character. You know what? Let's toy around with my appearance just really. Let's give ourselves gray hair. I like that theme that, you know, we came from this frozen world. Yeah, that's looking pretty cool, if you ask me. Yeah, that looks good. Joker says, of course I am, and I miss you, buddy. We need to link up soon. Absolutely, Joker. Let's hop on a call and catch up. It's been far too long since we've had a chance to speak to each other here. All right, we're looking good. I'm going to go with this. Give me a moment here. Let me just take care of something on Discord. There we go. Gonna go ahead and crank up this thing here. All right, we're looking good. Oh wow, Submariner, latest paints for Warhammer. Check out this. I'm checking out some artwork. One of our Layersins shared with us in the Great Hall. This is some Imperial Guard miniatures that he's painted. They look like the Death Corps of Krieg. I'm taking a look, and they got some sort of artillery piece here that they've... Yeah, this is the Death Corps of Krieg. Hey, Submariner, this looks like some fantastic work here. I'm wondering why it didn't get ported out to the live stream chat. But if you are on our Discord, I would highly encourage you to go ahead and take a look at Submariner's miniature artwork here. Has done a fantastic job painting these Death Corps Krieg miniatures. Very impressive. All right, let's get back in and let's get going. There we go. We're going to go ahead and apply this and begin our adventures. You are playing Warhammer 40,000 Dark Heresy. The game is in development. Report bugs by pressing Alt-B. Joker says, I've been up to my ears in Windrose and in Crimson Desert. I've heard nothing but good things about Crimson Desert Joker. Wolfheart especially loves Crimson Desert, so I hear it's a great, kind of like a sandbox exploration. It has like some of the DNA of some of the Elder Scroll titles. Yeah, I hear it's a good open world game. All right, Protocol. Your aching joints are twisted to their limit, locked in manacles. It is hard to breathe. The bitter scent of sacred incense fills your nostrils and throat, making you lightheaded. Inhale. A sharp pain echoes from the ribs broken during the interrogation. Exhale. A swollen artery at your temple throbs in time with the scratching of the Tarantine Cabal Arc Transcriptor's cogitator quill. The attention of those present is fixed upon you, but you cannot tear your gaze from the dark eye sockets of the golden mask looming over the stands. Tarantine Cabal. An organization within the Calaxian conclave of the Inquisition that is composed of representatives of different holy ordos. The primary duty of the Tarantine Cabal is to study the mysterious phenomena known as the Tyrant Star and its related prophecy. Can we expand this? Nope. That is basically it. We're going to go ahead and continue. We have the Arch Transcriptor. Session 2800432 Iota Pi of the Cabal is now convened. Subject of the session: the loss of the vessel Schultes' valor, the loss of 86% of Terminus Omega Warband, including servants of the Golden Throne of mid and high rank. Acolyte Iridis Zev, status deceased. Acolyte Persephone Shikrek, status deceased. Inquisitor Leander de Taral, status deceased. The accused, Wyvern. I'm going to say why am I the only one answering at this hearing? Protocol. Of course, as soon as the verdict reached the docks of the Bastion Serpentis, the few who survived the slaughter aboard Schultes' Valor were isolated for debriefing. Standard procedure. The remarkable thing is that after confirming the death of Inquisitor de Taral, they are still willing to hear you out. Bastion Serpentis. A fortress on the surface of Scintilla's moon, Lachius. The Bastion serves as the base of operations and information repository of the Tarantine Cabal. Joker says there has so much to it. I've like 200 hours in and I still have a ton of stuff to do. I'm not even close to being done. I love games like that personally, Joker. I love games that offer, a lot of gameplay hours. I think it makes it worth the purchase. Like, I've heard that Dark Heresy is going to be one of the shorter Owlcat offerings, around 60 to 70 hours. But I love those longer experiences that Owlcat's been known for with Kingmaker, Wrath of the Righteous, Rogue Trader games that typically deliver over 100 hours of potential gameplay for, completionists. So I'm going to take my time with Dark Heresy and see how far I can extend my playtime here. All right, Arch Transcriptor. According to witness testimony, Terminus Omega Warband bears partial responsibility for the loss of the Holy Inquisition's mechanical, informational, and human resources. The death of the Inquisitor, however, is the sole responsibility of the acolyte. Accused, do you deny your guilt? And we got a number of, let's see, a number of options here. I'm going to say Inquisitor D. Taral's death is my fault. I could have saved him, but I chose to secure the artifact. Well, I also could choose this one too. Mission above all else, I think that's going to be the sort of personality of my Inquisitor here. The primary objective of the warband was the transportation of a classified asset. I have fulfilled my duty to the Cabal in the Imperium. Inquisitor Lucan de Ferranis. We can take a closer look at good old Lucan here, with the green hair. With all due respect to the Cabal, I would beg leave to ask the Acolyte a different question. I propose we address another portion of the testimonies gathered and the remnants of data extracted from the Servo Osarium, specifically those regarding the causes behind the fall of Schultes' valor. Inquisitor Soldovan wishes to know, are you certain of the version of events you put forward? Answer, Acolyte Wyvern. A probing, unblinking gaze studies your face. I'm going to say I actually have no point of reference, so I'm just going to say I am not certain. It all happened so quickly, and my memory may be failing me. Yeah, I have no idea, what was the source of these troubles. Obviously, it's flavor, but that's what I'm going to select for my character response here. Interrogator Lucan de Ferranis. Failing you, you say. A pity your mnemonic faculties are so deficient. All right, and then we have Amazi's Servo Emissary. Inquisitor Amazi's voice, streaming from the servitor's vox, cuts through the tense pause. The truly remarkable fact in this entire affair is that the Acolyte survived direct exposure to the light of the Tyrant Star. Let Wyvern recount his experience now, lest the knowledge be lost to sudden madness or some other consequence. The Tyrant Star, an unidentified stellar phenomena also known as Hereticus Tenebrae, Comus, and the Spectral Sun, whose manifestation in real space heralds devastating catastrophes. Each appearance of the Tyrant Star is accompanied by warp disturbances and surges of sorcery and mutation, as well as riots and rebellions. Although the Tyrant Star has been the subject of extensive inquisitorial study for many decades, its true nature remains unknown. I'm going to choose Mono-Dominant / Amalathian. What use would this tainted knowledge be to you? I was put to the test, yet I resisted the corruption and overcame it. I do not wish to turn my thoughts to these vile memories any longer. Hey, Layersons, please join me in welcoming Shibble out there in the Stygian abyss of YouTube saying, hey, buddy, how are you, man? Better now that you're here, Shibble. We're checking out Warhammer 40,000 Dark Heresy, a new CRPG from the good developers at Owlcat Studios. So this is the current beta for that title. And we're just at the very beginning of the game here. A chorus of mixed reactions follows your answer. Some of those gathered nod in agreement, while others frown and avert their gaze. This is our character here, which we can see. We're locked, I think. So we can. This is pretty much the extent of what we can do. Just rotate the camera around our figure. The murmuring that surrounds you clearly signals one thing: the Tyrantine Cabal's unity is merely a facade, and in truth, a schism is forming within its ranks between the Puritans and those who favor a more liberal interpretation of the Imperium's laws. And we have that following alignment shift. Monodominant, and we actually have a flavor description now for what it means. An uncompromising exterminator of even the slightest signs of heresy, driven by the high ideals of duty, service of the God Emperor's will, and self-sacrifice. That's one possible alignment we can choose to orient our character around in terms of their decisions and their actions. We also have Amalthean, a staunch believer in the God Emperor's grand design, the fulfillment of which demands unity and accord within the endless ranks of the Imperium's organizations and from humanity as a whole. All right, and we got the Arch-Transcriptor here. The Inquisitor's questions accepted and admitted to the record. Answer fully and with complete candor, Acolyte. And we can go ahead and tell the truth. I saw something strange, an auditorium filled with strangers, and a hollowed figure of sorts that spoke to us. We got Ahmazi's servo-emissary, an auditorium, a hollowed figure. The ravings of an inflicted mind. More data is required. Inquisitor Milicentelia. Consider this. The Acolyte is either a lucky bastard who survived an impossible situation, or a complete idiot who returned to a stronghold of the Golden Throne's servants while actually being an agent of the arch-enemy. We have Interrogator Lucan de Ferranis. With evidence or without, if we execute the Acolyte now, we may forever lose vital details regarding the nature of the Hereticus Tenebrae. We got the servo-emissary saying the most efficient course would be to extract the Acolyte's brain for a synaptic reconstruction of memnofragments and replication of the lost memory segments pertaining to the incident. I'm going to say, I will humbly accept any verdict if it serves the mission of the Tarentine Cabal. And we have Lord Inquisitor, the Grand Poobah here. Lord Inquisitor Zebre. Lord Inquisitor Zerb. Our reality is one of eternal struggle, for resources, for survival, for hope. A reality full of pain and abhorrent choices, where nothing ever goes according to plan. In this very reality, Wyvern faced a choice: fulfill his duty to his Inquisitor, or obey the oath he swore to all of humanity. Anyone who claims this choice was obvious is lying to themselves. The loss of Schultes' valor, of the Acolytes in Leander, it is all meaningless if your bones are left to rot on a doomed planet. But Wyvern and Terminus Omega did not merely survive. They delivered the artifact into the hands of the Tarentine Cabal. Do you truly believe that by volunteering to retrieve the artifact, Leander de Terral did not fully comprehend the significance of his mission? The Inquisitor understood better than any of us the meaning of absolute submission to one's duty, and that same resolve also took root in his acolytes. So I will ask the Cabal only once: does Wyvern deserve retribution? Alright, and we got a little tutorial pop up over here. One of the available dialogue options requires a skill test. Success or failure affects how the dialogue develops. Hover your cursor over the dialogue option that requires a skill test, and you will see a tooltip detailing your chances of success and the party member with the highest score and the applicable skill. So it was a wits test, and you can see that I was able to succeed it here. The fact that Lord Inquisitor Zerb himself is now your sole benefactor makes your every nerve pull tight. The favor of the mighty carries a steep price, and you have not yet been told the cost. Look at that. Look at all these great people showing up this evening to join me as we check out the Dark Heresy beta. We got Our great friend, Queen Tiamat, the supreme ruler of the Stygian Abyss out there with her banhammer. Always great to see you. We also got Bidoof saying, popping in to say hi and drop a like. Always appreciated. Punish Bidoof. I'm looking forward to getting together with you and your husband soon for more adventures in our Enhanced Edition exploration of Baldur's Gate 2. I'll reach out to you guys. Hopefully we can put that together in a couple of weeks. And Joker says, obey the oath. Inquisitors are corrupt. All right. Lord Inquisitor. The Grand Hall falls silent. Pale faces, clenched jaws, disapproving stares, yet none dare to raise their voice. Then the golden mask turns toward you, and in its dark eye sockets you finally see a glint of living, attentive eyes. Remove the chains. Henceforth, Wyvern is under my protection. We got some barks from the NPCs here. Interesting solution. We got the transcriptor here. What a disgrace. All right. At first, the Lord Inquisitor's words are only met with stunned expressions before the hall finally erupts in a clamor of astonished voices. And we got the following. Following options here, I'm going to say, here before the Tyrantine Cabal and the God Emperor, I swear my allegiance to the Lord Inquisitor. Your will is my will. All right. Lord Inquisitor Zerb says, enough talk. The Cabal has matters to discuss without you, Wyvern. Report to Quartermaster Numis. He will return your gear and prepare you for your next assignment. The Lord Inquisitor makes a sharp gesture, and the guards part, clearing a path to the Grand Hall's exit. Arch Transcriptor. The next item on the session's agenda is... Queen Tiamat says, Wyvern is just a heretic at heart, Feronial. Feronial! Hey, welcome to the episode, Feronial. Good to have you drop by. We also got Clavis out there saying part of this. I don't quite make out what you're trying to express there, Clavis, but always good to see you here. Joker says it's good playing games and working. I hear you, man. Probably for converting with Xeno scum, says Bidoof about me being a heretic at heart. It is true. I do spend a lot of time with Xenos scum. Punish Bidoof. Tiamat says he's an outgoing guy. All right, let's dive in. Dive in and see where we're at here. All right, first things first, let's go ahead and drop a save. Because we are in the midst of a beta, and I'm not so sure the game's entirely stable. We can bring up our character sheet here, see our character info. I don't think that there's a way to level up. I don't think we have leveled up here, but in any case, this is our character so far. We're not going to... Whoops. We'll reset the choices. Wait. Cancel. We can make choices? What kind of choices can we make here? I thought this was not a level up. This is not a level up, so... Yeah, I think... wait. Let's see. Cancel. Do we have abilities that we can choose? Oh, we do have abilities that we can choose. So we're going to choose Sanctic Sword of Faith. Is that what we're going to choose? Apply. Or Sanctic Blood of the Martyrs. Blade Weaver. Molten Beam. Sure, we're going to choose Sanctic Faith. And we got all this stuff here. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's the level up. So, for better or worse, that's what we've done. Ferronio, good to see you out there, my friend. What's keeping you busy over on your Twitch channel, Feronial? What are you playing these days? Let's go ahead and drop a save because I am a compulsive saver like that. Let's go ahead and drop that save. And now we have this thing here, a journal that we can open up. All right. The Storm Survivors. Following the mission aboard Schultes' Valor, Terminus Omega Warband was disassembled. For his controversial decision, which had severe consequences for the Holy Ordos, the Acolyte was made to appear before the Tarantine Cabal. He will have to labor to regain the Cabal's trust and atone for his mistakes through service. And so our next step here for Chapter 1, the Storm Survivors, we got to receive gear from Quartermaster Numis. Instructions: head to the nearest convocation room of the Bastion Serpentis and gather equipment from the Quartermaster. So that is what we shall do. Can we open up a map? We can. Where are we? We got loot. Loot. This is us. The atrium. Taking a look at the points of interest we have here. The chapel, Sarrow. Convocation room. Combat training facility. Can we select the convocation room? There we go. So it's... got to get used to these controls. If I press tab, we can bring up the names of some of these characters, and we got a named one here. Blind the Aide. A young man with a friendly face and an impeccable bearing offers a salute the moment you leave the Grand Hall. Blind Silvis, Quartermaster's aide assigned to escort you after the meeting of the Tarantine Cabal, Master Acolyte. His piercing green eyes study you with genuine interest. I'm going to say, is there something wrong with my face? Why are you looking at me like that? Oh, please forgive me, says Blind. Master Acolyte, it's just that you're the... He hesitates for a few moments. The agent who retrieved an artifact the Tarantine Cabal has been hunting for years. I saw it in the atrium. Even when sealed in the metal chest, it looks simply unbelievable and dangerous. How did you even manage such a feat? He clears his throat. But I'm talking too much. You have important matters to attend to, not idle gossip from a mere aide. My apologies. I'm going to say, don't be shy. Speak up. I wouldn't mind hearing how the Bastion got on while I was away. Blind looks up at you attentively. As an aide, I encounter all sorts of news and rumors every day. I can share them with you, but only after you've met with the Quartermaster Numis, or else he'll come up with another cruel punishment for my slow work. I'm going to ask him, why would I need an escort? Blind says, I do not know. Blind looks somewhat embarrassed. For the time being, I am only an aide under the patronage of Quartermaster Numis. I run errands for him all over the Bastion Serpentis, and now I've been ordered to escort you to him in the convocation room immediately. I'm going to say, then take me to the Quartermaster. Broniel says, mostly been playing randomizers for older games. Haven't been online since I've been busy. Gotcha, man. Can I ask, I think you were the one who suggested the randomizer for Final Fantasy, the original Final Fantasy games. I definitely do want to check that out. All right. Take me to the Quartermaster. Oh, okay. I guess I gotta follow this guy. So that is what we shall do. Getting used to the movement controls here. Okay, there we go. Oh, interesting. So that's how you do it. You can move around the camera like this, and we got some speech here. Did you know the convocation room was originally the study of one of the former inquisitors of the Cabal? An extremely secretive one. That's why the corridor leading to it is so inconspicuous. Alright, so you move around the cameras like this. He's going to go ahead and trigger the door, I guess. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and open that door. And there's Quartermaster Numis. Blasted Xenos ripped him in half, and all because of those damn faulty batteries, Numis. Your informant might have lived if you could just shoot straight. Or is your lack of practice my fault, too? He's gonna get pissed. Maybe I should practice on your armory, rat. My life is the property of the Inquisition. Are you prepared to deprive the Holy Ordos of their asset? I hope you get eaten by a Grox, Numis. Voxhaler. To all servants of the Holy Ordos and the Bastion Serpentis, words have been spoken, decisions made, and a path charted. Session 2800432, Iota Pi of the Cabal, is now concluded. May the God Emperor receive our sacred service. End of transmission. All right. Queen Tiamat says, finished my spring semester. I've just been working on my project. Hey, glad to hear that, Queen. I'm glad you're continuing your studies. I hope it's going well. And can I ask what project you're working on? And don't forget, of course, you got to plug, your Dragonlance BTT campaign that you have on Twitch with your friends. As well, that's also something keeping you busy. All right, Grandmaster Numis, a solidly built middle-aged man looks at you over A solidly built middle-aged man looks at you over exquisitely handcrafted spectacles before giving a brief nod. Quartermaster Numis, spare me the introductions. You are Wyvern. I have already been briefed about you. Blinds, you did well for once. The acolyte arrived on time. Blind hides a smile and casts you a look of gratitude. I say, I was told you would issue me new equipment. The quartermaster glances down at the battered data slate in his hands. It says here that Wyvern is entitled to non-rotational issuance of equipment due to the unplanned deprecation of the previous set. Here, take it. The next scheduled issue is in 3 centillion years. We got this data slate here, an electronic digital storage device similar to a tablet computer. And we got a mantle of the Immaterium. The wearer deals 20% more damage while using abilities granted by the equipped staff. Furthermore, the servant at distribution block Omega XI, Quartermaster Numis, is hereby instructed to assume the duties of distribution overseer in regard to any blessings issued to. He reads more closely, trailing off to muttering. When he finishes, he lifts his cold gaze to you. You've been assigned to the verdict, and I've been assigned to you. I will head to the dock once I've concluded my present business. If you wish to continue this conversation, I'll be waiting for you there. Queen Tiamat says, I'll plug our campaign once we are back from break, which is hopefully soon. I miss my character so much already. Queen Tiamat, I am excited for you guys. Was excited from the start when you shared news about your streamed VTT campaign set in the Dragonlance campaign setting. And is there, I understand that, the principal platform for your Dragonlance VTT is Twitch, but does the organizer upload episodes to a YouTube channel as videos on demand as well? All right, Tuma. The interrogator's expression is unreadable in the dull light of the lumens. A general term for a light source, presumably an electric one. The painful bruises scattered across his face have taken on a yellowish-green hue, and the split above his brow is healing into yet another swollen ridge. Long time no see, Wyvern. Interrogator Ortis, good to see you back on duty. So, you've been cleared for further service, just like the other survivors. The Cabal certainly has a refined sense of justice. And spare me the formalities. We're of equal rank now. Thanks to your devotion to the Tarantine Cabal's mission, the Warband lost an Inquisitor. What kind of interrogator would allow such a thing to happen? Those were the exact words before they stripped me of my status. You rescued the ancient artifact from Schultes Valor at the cost of sacrificing the life of Inquisitor Leander de Taral. I'm going to say, let's see, we got quite a few options here. So the Cabal didn't put you to death after all. I assume we'll be working together on equal footing now, since we're both acolytes. I'm going to choose this one. Usually, when the Holy Ordos takes your rank, they take your head along with it. But somehow, you're still walking the Bastion's halls. Tuma says acolytes who commit inexcusable acts during missions rarely see the light of day again either. And yet, here we stand, both still breathing. I'm going to say, so the Cabal... You were punished for a choice I made. That is not right. The universe is not a particularly just place. If you are now just realizing that, I can only envy your ignorance. Awareness test succeeded. For a moment, a trace of profound weariness shows in Tuma's gaze. His lips part as if to say something more, but the unspoken words dissolve into emptiness between you. Lord Inquisitor Zerb bade me inform you that he expects you in his work chambers one floor above. I advise you not to tarry unless you wish to forfeit your new patron's favor. You will not find a replacement for him. All right. That's the cutscene. We can take a look at our journal now. So we completed retrieve gear from Quartermaster Numis, and now we have an update to the Storm Survivors chapter quest here. A report to Lord Inquisitor Zerb. Orientation point. The Lord Inquisitor's work chambers can be reached through a stepped passageway to the Bastion Serpentis atrium. Alright, let's take a look at our gear. And there it is, the mantle of the Immaterium. Let's compare it to what we got. Armor, durability 28, damage reduction 5%, it's medium armor. Oof, this is not great armor, is it? We could wear that, but we'd be, yeah, probably a good idea to wear. Let's see, we got this. I think I want to wear that. And let's see, Acolyte Cloak. The wearer's defense is increased by +3. We'll get that going here. Acolyte Cloak's on us. We have the awareness goggles. We get that on us too. Excellent. We got medkits. It's already worked out for us. Let's see, mantled in the Immaterium. That's really high risk. I mean, we are going to be getting into combat, aren't we? We got a claymore. It's a two-handed weapon. We got a stub revolver here. Staff of Flames. Staff of Flames can go here. Sword. Sniper rifle. Shotgun. Autogun. Spotter's bolt pistol. Let's get that claymore going here. And do we risk it? Maybe we do. Maybe we try to kind of... Because I imagine my character, you know, maybe creeping up. We'll find out. We'll find out how this works. But, yeah, I think this is the build that we're going to go for. We got this Staff of Flames as a melee attack. Spontaneous combustion. We'll try that. Yeah, T-Matt. So, do get back to us about that question. Do you guys have a YouTube channel where you folks upload your episodes as videos on demand? All right, I think we're done here. So, let's take a look at where we are. Where is our character? There's our character, and we need to get to. Let's see. The convocation room. Where are we headed? Through a step passageway. Okay. Do we have any idea of where we're headed? Let's see. What is this? Yeah, I'm not so sure where we're meant to be going. What happens if we press this? Ah, it is a puzzle. It is a little puzzle here. Do we have clues to this puzzle? Environmental clues. I like clues that have, you know, okay, that could go on for a while, and without without some sort of clue to help guide us along with our selections, we could be at it for a little while. So we're gonna zip along here. Team Matt says yes, we stream to Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. VODs are uploaded to YouTube, and sometime later you can listen to episodes wherever you get your podcast. Gotcha, team. Team Matt, could you link us to the YouTube channel for your VTT campaign, if you so wouldn't mind? I think this is the stepped stairs that we had heard about. Can we talk to the Serpentine Guard? In the name of the God Emperor, of humanity, we stand vigilant over these chambers. The relook on the guard's ashen face speaks of this being yet another 20-hour watch. All right. I'm under strict orders not to engage in conversation. Forgive me, says the guard. In the name of the God Emperor, gotcha. And we also got some extra dialogue from Blind here. The Lord Inquisitor observed study. Entry is permitted only after one has recited the appropriate litany and been filled with reverence. Can we expand this? We can. And if I open it up like that, perfect. Like that. So there we go. That's the Lord Inquisitor's chambers. Let's go. Acolyte of the Inquisition, Wyvern. Ordo Hereticus. Access to Lord Inquisitor's chambers is granted by virtue of meritorious service to the Holy Ordos. All right. We're entering the Lord Inquisitor's chambers here. Thank you very much, T-Man. Drop another save. Servo-menial. Quote, for we are the punishing hand, but never the granting one. Inquisitor Varrak, Ordo Hereticus. If you ever been part of my my Let's Plays in the past, you will know that I absolutely love to explore every nook and cranny of these games. A book written in a tongue that barely hints at High Gothic. It is older than the walls of the Bastion Serpentis. A steady golden glow emanates from the blade displayed in this case. Its hilt is broken, but the edge appears keenly sharp. The tomes gathered on these shelves are not merely rare. Many exist as a sole copy. So it gives you an idea of the wealth. Hey, we got Good Day Twitch out there in the Stygian abyss of Twitch. Thank you so much for helping us build this mega dungeon together. Good Day Twitch. Appreciate you following me over there. What brought you to the Stygian abyss of Twitch, if I can ask? Chamber Sentinel. Let's talk to these guys. There we go. Servoaid, Wyvern, former acolyte of the late Inquisitor Leander de Terral has arrived, Lord Inquisitor. Lord Inquisitor Zerb. Several long minutes pass in absolute silence. Every now and then, whispers of flipped report pages break up the hush. Finally, the Lord Inquisitor closes the leather-bound folder and raises his eyes to you. The destruction of Schultes' valor, the death of Leander de Terral, the loss of Iocanthus' system. We live in dark times, rich in great losses. Anton Zerb's hand tightens around the report folder. Leander was convinced that the heretic Astartes were to blame for the destruction of the ship. You agreed with his conclusions. I have no reason not to believe you both, even if no solid evidence survived. Heretic Astartes, Chaos Space Marines. Space Marine who's renounced the Emperor and become a devoted servant of the forces of Chaos. But Leander is dead. The evidence has disappeared, and the words of potentially corrupted acolytes are lacking in credit. To force the Inquisitors to delay their affairs and redirect resources to fight a hidden enemy, one needs strong proof indeed. Proof that a blade has been raised over the capital of Calixis. You will do this. When you receive a new assignment, study your surroundings and seek individual events which, when pieced together, will paint a picture of the lurking evil. I'm going to say, make the sign of the Aquila. I will do all that is possible to complete this task. Lord Inquisitor Zerb, that is not enough, acolyte. I expect you to go beyond the possible. The time has come when only this will allow humanity to prevail. What will happen to the Orcalum Noxus? It is yet to be prepared for the sanctification ritual. When the servants cleanse the artifact with prayers and the tech litanies run their course, it will take its intended place in the atrium hall, where every servant of the Tarentine Cabal will be able to watch and study it. I'm going to say, why does the Orcalum Noxus bear such importance to the Tarentine Cabal? You have seen it at work aboard Schultes' valor, but perhaps the memories are so painful that your mind refuses to accept them. Even before the cursed light of the Tyrant Star fell upon the world, the verdict and you, the artifact had radiated a blinding glow, hadn't it? The Orcalum Nexus is nothing but a herald of inevitable tragedy. The rise of the spectral sun, the Hereticus Tenebrae. From now on, new catastrophes will not catch the Tarentine Cabal off guard, because of you and the sacrifice of de Terral. You made me your acolyte, while others blame me for the death of Master de Terral. Why? For many years, Leander and I forged a path for humanity, side by side, through the infinite darkness. Even when our views on the pain of this galaxy changed, each of us continued to serve him unwaveringly. And just as Leander once paved the way to the future with the hands of his acolytes, you, Wyvern, will become a new bearer of my will. Zerb removes his inquisitorial sigil from his neck and gives you a strange look. One who is incapable of sacrifice will never bring change, but you, Acolyte, have shown enough fortitude to do so. He thrusts out his hand and slowly reveals the sigil. Even if you must give up everything and everyone, even if it means losing your own humanity, do it to achieve our goal. I'm going to choose Mono-Dominant Amalathian. I am an instrument of the Tyrantine Cabal's will in the eradication of heresy. Nothing will deter me from fulfilling this righteous service. The colossal figure of Anton Zerb remains still. Only his golden mask offers a hint of a nod. Are there new assignments for me? Too many. The essence of the Hereticus Tenebrae has remained unknown to the Tyrantine Cabal for hundreds of years. Therefore, you will begin your own investigation of this phenomena with a clean slate. Revisit every lead gathered by your predecessors, trace connections, and draw new conclusions. Start your research with a visit to the restricted section of the Bastion Serpentis archives. The Lord Inquisitor waves his hand, and the lumens flare in the eye sockets of the servo skulls hovering nearby. I am certain you recognize the Servo Asarium. The events aboard Schultes' Valor resulted in considerable damage to the device, but the tech priest managed to restore its functionality. Alas, the same cannot be said of the data from your last mission. I return D. Terral's device to you. Use its full potential to carry out the mission entrusted to you. Lord Inquisitor Zerb. For a few moments, Anton Zerb remains silent. Is there anything you have not shared with me yet about Schultes' valor? About what happened to you when the spectral sun shone upon you? Speak. I will listen. I'm going to tell the truth. I saw something strange, an auditorium filled with strangers, and a hollowed figure of sorts that spoke to us, which is exactly what I shared earlier at the interrogation. Zerbe says nothing at first. Then, I see. And what did this figure want? I am unsure. It spoke of odd things, a shield against the darkness, the impotence of death, ashes that the Titan's heart would not see. Lord Inquisitor Zerb says, this knowledge must remain between us, Acolyte. Whether your vision was the delusion of a mind fractured by the tyrant star's influence or something else, there is more to learn. However, if any member of the Cabal doubts the purity of your thoughts or your free will, even I cannot shield you from execution. Remember this. For a while, the Golden Mask watches you in silence, before Zerb returns at last to the reports folder. Acolyte, in addition to the high-priority tasks, you are to take on more mundane duties. Go to the Marsaportum Sectoris Hab Zone, located in the lower levels of Hive Sibilis. Inquisitor Melisentilla and Sister Septima have been conducting their investigations there for some time. I want you to render them any feasible assistance. Acquiescently. It means something has driven them to linger in that dark place. The Lord Inquisitor takes out an ornately embossed envelope and dismissively puts it aside. Afterward, head to Lucid Palace and meet with Inquisitor Olanthi Wrathbone. She has obtained intelligence that some heretic cell plots to assassinate a high-ranking figure during the celebrations of Saint Sibilis. There is no conclusive evidence that these heretics exist at all. Indeed, the situation appears to be nothing more than the typical squabbles of the aristocracy, and the Holy Ordos does not waste time on such trivialities. However, there remains a slim chance that this rumor somehow relates to the activity of the traitor Astartes. That is why I'm sending you to take the measure of things. I'm going to say, You told me to find information on the Tyrant Star in the Bashan archives, but what exactly am I looking for? Lord Inquisitor Zerb says, find Chronicle Keeper Bloodworth. His post is located in the Archivum Serpentis. He will guide you to the most important sources of information about the Tyrant Star. What exactly are Inquisitor Melisentilla and Sister Septima doing in the lower levels of the Hive? Lord Inquisitor Zerb says, I will assume the details will be shared with you and Marisportum, if they deem it necessary. What manner of place is this Marisportum Sectoris? I have never heard of it. One of the decaying hab zones of the lower levels, forgotten by the Ecclesiarchy, the Magistrum, and perhaps by the God Emperor himself. In recent months, Marisportum has been drowning in seaquakes. If you hesitate, you will stand a very real chance of seeing nothing but an endless toxic sea that has swallowed all life. I'm going to say, Inquisitor Oleanthe Wrathbone. Who is she? As my acolyte, you should be more informed on the active members of the Terrantine Cabal from now on. Oleanthe Wrathbone is currently undertaking a mission on Scintilla, acting as the voice of the Holy Ordos. She is capable of persuading even those who usually only accept the language of force to cooperate. Let her use you if it serves the mission, but do not even think to trust her. I'm going to say, am I to prevent the assassination? Am I to prevent the assassination attempt in the spires? Lord Inquisitor Zerbe says, I do not care whether another Lucidian soldier or priest dies. Even if the Tyrant Star lit up the sky over Scintilla right now, each of them would keep gnawing at each other's throats, if only to satisfy their depraved egos in the moments before death. And even when, in this senseless commotion, someone finally devours the weakest, their place will be immediately taken by a successor. The task of the Inquisition is not to save those who consider themselves the chosen of humanity. Our task is to use those who wrongly believe themselves chosen in the name of humanity's salvation. Thus, even if this heretic cell turns out to be a figment, use this opportunity to remind Scintilla's elite that, in the eyes of the Holy Ordos, none are guiltless. I say understood. Lord Inquisitor Zerb says, you will need a warband. Acolytes Spes and Devos are currently finishing an inspection in the infirmary. You already know them. As for Acolyte Saros, who will replace Acolyte Shekrik as a sanctioned psyker, he can most likely be found in the Temple Hall. Use them as you see fit. Now go. And remember, Acolyte, time is not on our side. Results, not excuses. That is what I expect from you. All right, and there we go. That is our conversation with the Lord Inquisitor here. I'm going to go ahead and drop a save. Joker says, careful with hive syphilis. Yes, to be avoided, for sure, Joker. I am going to go ahead and grab a quick snack. I've been streaming for almost 2 hours now, I think. So let me go ahead and get that quick snack. I'll be right back, and we will continue our adventures when I return. are back. By the Emperor, I have been fueled for the next couple of hours. We're gonna put in a nice long stream here, folks. Veronial says Doomstream when? A much delayed Doomstream for Veronial. I wanted to put together a celebratory Doomstream for my, reaching that 1,000 subscriber milestone way back when. So that still has to happen. Joker says, my dinner I made for my wife and myself a cheeseburger with a homemade guacamole on the top bun, tomato and red onion and fresh baked hamburger buns, and a garlic batter baked on top with 2 patties of funeral potatoes fried on the stove with homemade guacamole and a peach mango salsa to top it off. That sounds incredibly delicious, Joker. Bon appetit. Your lady's lucky to have a creative and passionate chef like yourself as husband. We are lucky to be in the service of this Inquisitor, otherwise we would have been long ago executed. So, we got several things to do here. Beginning with echoes of... Wait, no, just kidding. Alright, we got several things to look at, so let's take a look at them one by one. Alright. Beginning with, they have come for us. The clues and markings left aboard the Valor by its executioners are gone, along with Iocanthus itself. In order to convince the members of the Tarantine Cabal of this new danger looming over Scintilla, in the presence of a dark force hiding within the system, the Acolyte must gather as much evidence as possible. Keep a sharp eye out for any dark signs. Even minor details may hold clues to the corrupting influence of the Imperious enemies. It is the Acolyte's duty to attend to his surroundings and uncover the true nature of any strange events or phenomena. Echoes of the Unearthed. Inquisitor Meliscintilla and Battle Sister Septima are in the Marisportum Sectoris, one of the lower hab zones of Hive Sebelis. Lord Inquisitor Anton Zerb has instructed the Acolyte to travel to Marisportum to assist the representatives of the Tarantine Cabal. Alright, go to the Marisportum Sectoris. Instructions head to the lower hab zone of Hive Sebelis to assist members of the Tarantine Cabal there. In the blood of the martyr. An Acolyte has been dispatched to the Lucid Palace to participate in the efforts to uncover the existence of an alleged cell of enemies of the Imperium complicit in heretical beliefs and deeds. Go to the Lucid Palace. Mission location, the upper levels of the Hive City Sebelis, known as the Spires. Alright, so that is for the future. In the meantime, we have the following goals. Assemble a warband. Instructions. The Acolyte must assemble a warband to prepare for upcoming missions. Acolyte Haimar, Davos, Epion, Spes, and Saro are located within the Bastion Serpentis. Find the Churigan, Epion, in the Medicae wing. Find the Katakian jungle fighter, Haimar, in the Medicae wing. And find the sanctioned psyker, Saro, in the chapel. Alright. T-Mat says, Wyvern, should I get Greek food tomorrow? I would say, Queen T-Mat, you get Greek food tomorrow and always. Gosh, it's always so good. Joker says, yes, get a hero. And T-Mat says, that actually sounds like a very good idea, Joker. I had a delicious hero a couple of days ago from our small little Greek, family-owned Greek place here in Santa Fe. Myself, T-Mat, as you well know, always is the spot. Gotcha. Great Greek place, 30 minutes from you, Joker. Very nice. What are we doing? We're going to go ahead and drop save because I'm a compulsive saver. Nothing to level up here, so let's go ahead and see what we can see here, shall we? Among the grim chain-bound volumes, a simple tome and a pale binding stands out. The spine reads, a treatise on the Noctis Aterina, whatever that is. A hololithic map of Scintilla and nearby void objects, compiled with the greatest diligence and covered in thousands of annotations. We got these serviomedials taking care of these things. Alright, it's the same bark that we'd seen previously. Let's move over here and see what other objects we can find. A golden mask nearly identical to the one worn by the Lord Inquisitor, sundered in two by an unknown force. A single solitary tooth, likely an incisor, judging by the shape There is no label on the display case. Mysterious. What do we have here? Beneath the statue's crude form, the true skill of a sculptor can still be seen. The figure is covered in a delicate filigree of litanies, visible only from up close. Alright. And these things are making some strange noises. But we are done here. I think. Yep. We've already taken a look at all this before. So out we go to the Bastion Serpentis. Team Matt says, guess dinner is settled then. Yeah, I'm looking forward to dinner myself, Tiamat. After I wrap up the stream, which will not be anytime soon, because goodness gracious me, I've missed great CRPGs like this. Take a look. All right. Let's figure out where we're headed to next. So this is the convocation room. We got some loot there. Combat training facility. That's not where we want to go. We want to go to the infirmary. So can we... Up. What's going on here? Oh, I see. I just kind of whizzed on through. We got some barks here. All right. They sent Inquisitor de Terral's warband to Valor. Some people have all the luck. Inquisitorial agent. I heard differently. Rumor is Inquisitor de Terral volunteered for that assignment himself. I don't see much difference. They were given a chance others might wait years for. The God Emperor sends us trials through our shepherds. Once we prove ourselves worthy, we too will be entrusted with something of importance. Right. Trials, of course. What do you think de Terral's acolyte did on that mission? He must have chosen the right course of action. It seems their mission was to retrieve that object, and they succeeded. They sent Inquisitor de Terral's warband to Valor. Okay, that's just a repeat of that dialogue here. And there is the link. Welcome back, Acolytes. To the servants of Holy Ordos, access to terminals Lacus Omega, Zeta O, Omega, 11 Delta 5, and Kappa 2 are restricted. Due to airlock system destabilization, you're advised to reschedule any planned visits to these terminals some other time. The ancient walls of the Bastion Serpentis could not bear the weight of time and eventually collapsed upon the heads of its inhabitants. You can see that right there. Gives a sense of the age of this facility. All right. Where are we headed now? Like an echo from the past or the future, the reality before you has taken shape, absorbing emotions that have been frozen in oblivion. Clutching your head, you tried to calm the pain that is tearing your sanity to pieces. Your heart is pounding, you are short of breath, and the vague figures, either a vision or the agonized illusions of a dying consciousness, play out the same scene in your mind over and over again. Blind looks anxiously at your face. Master Acolyte, are you all right? Are you feeling dizzy? I have a stimulant, and we are not far from the infirmary. I'm going to peer at the frozen figures. These people, this place, are drawn together by the tenacious, barely visible threads of duty and regret, stitching together the canopy of reality and time. Touch the figures in the vision. Your hand passes through the blurry silhouettes, and a wave of hopelessness and bitterness, emotions that once belonged to someone else and at some other time, rolls over you. One killed the other, fired a bolter right into the back of the victim's head, and felt regret. This is neither a dream nor a fiction. It definitely happened, right here. But how do you know that? You just know it and feel it. It is something natural. Though not so before, it is now a part of you. Something that came with the Tyrant Star's curse. You are unable to control it, and it brings torment to your body and mind. But if this is now an integral part of you, then perhaps one day you will find a way to turn this power to your advantage. Pray to the God Emperor and banish the phantasm. You make the sign of the Aquila and shut your eyes tight. As you recite the litanies, the pain gradually subsides and you recover your breath. The intrusive vision slowly dissipates into thin air. All right. We have an orb. The pile of the ancient carpet glistens with a faint stain left there by a cleansing agent. Oh, interesting. We got all these orbs to take a look at, so let's go ahead and do that. Fresh bolter fire scars blemish the ancient masonry. Fresh. Did that work? It succeeded. There is a strange recess in the polished niche. You make out two symmetrical pits with a bump underneath, and below that, what looks like the imprint of a jaw in the shape of a grotesque smile, frozen into the stone. You can go ahead and interact. Ah, we need some sort of item. Interesting. Okay. Well, let's go exploring a little bit, shall we? Where are we? Where are we headed? Maybe we'll head back this way for the time being. Right, okay, that's the clue. Oh, we have something here to interact with as well. No suitable items, so that's some sort of puzzle that we could perhaps solve at some point. What do we have here? Are these all people looking for treatment, I would imagine? Yep, that's the infirmary right there. Last few cycles have been a great test for the servants of the Turrentine Cabal. War bands are losing one accolade after another. The infirmary is overcrowded, but there are even more who cannot be saved at all. Alright, and we got some goods to take a look at, so let's go ahead and see what we have here. We have On the Mysteries of Mental Indoctrination on the Death Worlds of the Calaxis Sector. Inside the compact metal tube, sealed with several locks, the pages of an ancient manuscript rustle. The lid bears the title in elegant High Gothic handwriting. Alright, received that item. I'm not so sure what exactly that is, whether it's just a vendor trash, but in any case, first loot for the playthrough. What do we have here? We got an engine sear. Let's try this door. And there we go. Our companions. Let's inspect this. The acolyte is pale, his breath barely perceptible. Yet, despite the horrific wounds, the Bastion's Medicae have managed to tear him from death's grasp. it looks absolutely like a slaughterhouse in here. Look at all that blood. Yeesh. Alright, let's talk to our companions. Epione, our colleague is here. Pausing her examination of the soldier's prosthetic, the white-clad Medicae looks you over with a piercing gaze. I understand that, in light of the events in the Grand Hall, our unspoken compact of fellowship demands that I offer some words of support. However, all the accusations leveled, the Churgan's eyes scan your face. The scalpel claw affixed to her hand tenses with a screech before she looks away. When she speaks again, her tone is notably colder. However, all the accusations leveled at our warband were justified. We lost an inquisitor and demonstrated a lamentable lack of competence. Hamar, don't start. Did we or did we not retrieve that thing from the Valor? The mission was accomplished, and the Cabal agrees. De Terral knew the risks when he decided to lead the warband personally, and he paid the price for his lack of focus. Hamar's keen eyes settle on you. You didn't come here just to talk, did you, Wyvern? Blind the aide, Hamar and Epione turn their eyes to the aide beside you, and the young man instinctively steps back. Ah, my name's Blind, and I am an aide stationed under Quartermaster Numis, at your service. I suppose we'll be working together, or maybe not. In any case, pay me no mind. I'm going to say, what's everyone's status? Epione, unsatisfactory. I prefer to decline further explanation. Hamar, rubs the muscles just above his augmented leg. A few scratches. Nothing Epi can't fix. Lord Inquisitor Anton Zerbe granted me his patronage and tasked me with assembling a warband to carry out a mission. Hamar lets out a low whistle. Not bad. And you want us to work for you now? Could be worse. You strike me as someone who knows how to prioritize. Epione's hands freeze above the prosthetic. You notice a barely perceptible tremor in her plasteel claws. I must request a deferral in the execution of this assignment. At present, I have more urgent tasks to attend to. We're going to go ahead and tap into Medicae 80%. We are being sent to the lower hive. I am certain there will be much for a physician of your caliber to study there. And it succeeded. I deem that assumption substantiated. The Churgan makes a couple of notes on a data slate. Furthermore, this assignment ultimately coincides with my own. But that is of no consequence. Acolyte Wyvern, I am Epione Spes, Medicae Acolyte, reporting to you. I stand ready to execute any reasonable order, providing it does not endanger humanity or the Imperium. Hamar simply nods. Hamar Devos, at your service. I'm going to say, is there anything you need to prepare before we set off? Hamar. The Catechian slaps the scabbard strapped to his intact leg. All set, Commander. When do we move out? Epione. I would recommend visiting the Quartermaster before departure to replenish our supply of Medicae kits. I'm going to say we need to collect one more member for the warband, a psyker named Saro. Epione's face darkens. Another psyker. As we have had occasion to witness, the presence of such an individual poses a significant danger to the entire group. Hamar. Just stand clear when he explodes. Hamar flashes a grin. Or when he makes others explode. Epione. A sensible recommendation, Hamar. I shall endeavor to follow it. It's unclear from Epione's tone whether this is sarcasm or a genuine intention. We have two assignments. One in the lower hive, in the Maris Portum, Sectoris Hab Zone. The other in the Spires of Seblis. Any thoughts on which one we should handle first? Hamar's eyebrows rise slightly. We're heading to the Spires without an Inquisitor. Can't wait to see the look on those polished faces when they see us. Epione. A coincidence of remarkable timelessness. Ignoring Hamar's surprised look, Epione continues, the fact is, I was just preparing to file a request to visit that particular lower hive zone as part of the research team. As part of a research team. I will elaborate further once we've concluded discussing the assignment. Well then, ready to go? Hammar cracks his neck. Time to stretch our legs. All right. Joker says, I love how much work they put into this game to be accurate and respect the IP, which is why they were given the right to make these. I hope that Henry Cavill can fight off Amazon's morons and make the new Warhammer show faithful to the IP. Oh, I'm excited for it too, Joker. Should be a great addition to the Warhammer Pantheon, this show that Henry Cavill's producing with the Amazon. All right, let's take a look at what we got here. So, damage, character, abilities, Centric Sword of Faith, melee weapon is blessed. Okay, so I have a melee weapon. So let's see. This is my melee weapon, Staff of Flames. It's a melee attack, spontaneous combustion. So I'm covered there. I don't need the claymore. The claymore, yeah. I could use a ranged weapon of some sort. Let's see, something with a +8 vitals damage, hit chance, upper penetration chance, hit chance 60%, hit chance 30. Stub revolver. Let's use a sniper rifle. Because I do have my melee weapon there. It doesn't make sense for me to have 2 melee weapons. Alright, there we go. So we are equipped there. And we are ready to move on. So, we are headed to... Let's see. I believe it's the chapel. Let's take a look at our journal. Yep, in the chapel. So, we're just going to go ahead and make our way to the chapel. Oh, interesting. Why did it bring us here? But let's go back here, because there were a couple of things that we seem to have found. Let's scroll down here. Awareness. So we succeeded on finding something, I guess. Alright, let's see. What did we find here? And there we go. Sleight of hand. This can only be used once. Best character for this action is Epione. But we failed, so that is that. Let's go ahead. We're not going to be save scumming this. We're just going to be... Alright, Disease Observation Journal. Thus, I am forced to conclude that Scintilla is thoroughly and dishearteningly unprepared for pandemics of any kind. Standing in the most lamentable manner even against this backdrop of monstrous negligence, the lower sectors of Hive Cebolus are potentially even more vulnerable in the face of rapidly spreading contagions. I can state with full confidence that both the local infectious agents, such as those found in a veritable sea of chemical waste, and external ones, check for the presence of Somnus Rationis, find a clear path to proliferation. Submitting petitions to the magistratum for the allocation of resources for anti-contagion measures has not met with success. A 24th attempt with an updated list of arguments must be undertaken. Huh? The bureaucracy of the Imperium, huh? Let's take a look at this. Sleight of hand. We're going to go ahead and attempt this. And failed, unfortunately. Oh, well. So that did not work out. Let's, which way should we head? Which way should we head here? What is this? Convocation room. Let's go to the atrium. Alright, I've been fascinated by the relics being displayed in the atrium. Their display fills the Inquisitors to the Bastion with awe. I believe it was Lord Inquisitor Zerbe's deliberate design. Alright, let's see what we got here. Do you have something we can take a look at? Goods here. We got consecrated scrolls, golden tokay, and synths. What is this thing? Probably a currency. We'll go ahead and collect that. And let's see if we can find our way to Banner of the Holy Orders of the Inquisition, the defenders of humanity, the scourge of Xenos, sorcerers, and heretics. We discovered something here. Ooh, skull branded in its left eye socket. We'll collect that. See, it pays to go exploring here. Let's talk to Tuma. You have an assignment to complete. What are you doing? Trying to work here. Okay, so those guys are not about to talk to me just yet. Let's go this way. Let's see what we can find. Show the sigil. So that's what we'll do. Welcome back, Acolyte. Excellent. Let's go exploring. Sister Helena. Sister Septima conveys her sincere condolences. Master de Terral was a worthy man. Got some servitors. Voxhaler, to the servants of Holy... Okay, we've heard this before, actually. We're just repeating news that we've heard before, but we are near the chapel. Right. Praise be to the providence of the God Emperor, for he has revealed to us hitherto undiscovered tomb of Saint Sibyllus. Ah, an abode of spirit and tranquility. You may not have heard yet, but a detachment of the Adepta Sororitas, led by Sister Septima, has taken up residency in the Bastion, though she herself is currently away on a mission. And there's Sarah. All right. A slight, wiry man stands before the wall of memory, his gaze tracing the endless lines of script in quiet reverence. After a long moment, he turns toward you, his piercing blue eyes seem to glow faintly. Do you seek something, Acolyte? Are you Sarrow, the sanctioned psyker? The man nods slowly. Indeed. And you are Wyvern, one of those who returned from the perilous journey to the Iocanthus system. The God Emperor has granted you his mercy, a rare and precious thing. I am pleased to make your acquaintance. The God Emperor, the guide, the ruler, and the higher power to which humanity offers their prayers for aid and deliverance. Most would be driven mad with despair if they knew the truth about their guardian. I'm going to say... I could not help but overhear your prayer. It came from the heart. The man bows his head in gratitude. It came to me as I pondered our duty before the guardian of humanity, before our master, our beacon in the impenetrable darkness of the void. I'm glad it touched your heart as well. What is this place? Sarrow, a chapel of the God Emperor. Even those who serve him with fervor require solace and prayer to endure their trials. And this, the man gestures toward the structure of metal plates, the wall of memory, a place of reverence for the inquisitors who gave their lives to his glory. The mere sight of these names, carved in metal, fill one's heart with resolve not to let those sacrifices be in vain. All right, I was tasked with finding you and recruiting you for my warband. The Tyrantine Cabal has entrusted me with a mission. Sarrow. So, the Tyrantine Cabal has deemed you righteous and restored you to the ranks of its servants. I had thought that contact with the Heresy, the Tyrant Star, would have rendered you an outcast. Sarah cast a glance at the memorial stand, where a plaque bearing Leander de Terrell's name has already been placed. Too many of those sent to Iocanthus have perished in the depths of corruption. My only solace is that for one of them, Persephone, my sister by curse, a swift death became a bitter gift, sparing her the dreadful torment of survival. But that lies in the past, and a new duty awaits us. I heed the Cabal's command and stand ready to accompany you to face new trials. Hey, we got David Woomer out there in the Stygian Abyss of YouTube. Always good to see you, David. Yes, we're playing Warhammer 40,000 Dark Heresy this evening. Glad to have you join us here at the lair. I'm going to say, were you and Persephone close? No, she kept her distance. Yet I have always considered it my duty to keep watch over those who share the curse of witchcraft with me within these walls. Sarah glances at the memorial plates on the wall. His lips move in a brief prayer. She was strong, but she was taken too soon, and her name will remain only in my memory, not in the middle of this wall. An individual of any intelligent species who possesses some degree of psychic ability or powers. I'm going to say, what kind of psyker are you? What sorcery do you command? When the God Emperor's grace fills my heart, I give it form in purifying flame. Sarah's eyes flare with a fire, a fearsome contrast to the psyker's placid expression. I am the conduit of his higher wrath, which reduces his enemies to ash and burns away the heresy that has taken hold of the weak and the lost. Epiophone quickly types something into her data slate, glancing disapprovingly at the psyker. Noticing your look, she shrugs. I took the liberty of drafting a request for an increased allotment of burn ointment for our team. Saros smiles faintly. A commendable precaution, though somewhat excessive, for the God Emperor knows his own and shall judge them accordingly. I'm going to say, you are suspiciously well informed about me. A hint of shyness touches Sarah's smile. Rumors spread easily among those permitted within these walls. Besides, I am often consulted on the nature of the warp and psychic ability. Your return, and your painful experience in particular, are of greater consequence to the Bastion Serpentis than you seem to realize. The warp is an alternate dimension of pure energy and madness existing as a mirror to real space. It is the source of all psychic powers and home dimension of the powerful entities known as the Chaos Gods and their respective daemons. It is also known as the Immaterium, the Empyrean, the Aether, and the Sea of Souls. Very well. We must go, Sarah. All right. God Emperor protects Wyvern. Blind Aid. I'll leave you to it, Master Acolyte. I hope my escort made your return to the Bastion a little brighter, and I wasn't too intrusive. Aid smiles and gives a slight shrug. Since I am assigned to the Quartermaster Numis, and he is now assigned to your warband, it seems we will see each other often. I am at your service at any time. Blind makes the sign of the Aquila. The Emperor protects Acolyte Wyvern. All right. Go ahead, drop a save. And we got Sisters of Battle. We got Acolytes. What is this? Listen to the sermon. Sure. Bow your heads and temper your spirits. Guard against fear through service. For the battle scars are the sacred marks of duty. Pray to him not for salvation, but for endurance. For they who stand with humanity to the very end are already saved by him. All right. It's a brief ceremony. Gave it a listen. We have something here we can take a look at. A Psalm of Sibyllus the Infallible. O soldier, ineffable Sibyllus saint, the archenemy crushing with your sure hand, protecting humanity from inhuman taint, the equal of war machines across the land. All banners and Aquilas were his to claim. Incorrupt in our memory, he will not fade, for he dethroned a tyrant to rule this domain. But to our anguish unending, he was betrayed. Sibyllus the good became a traitor's prey. His flesh our hopes rent asunder by villain's knife, and so our words of praise to silent grief gave way. Our holy saint now abides in eternal life. All right, so we learned something about Sibyllus, Saint Sibyllus. Turn your thoughts to the God Empress. Sure, we shall. The light of the candle flame dances across the cold, polished plaques before you. Each one bears the name of fallen inquisitors and interrogators who served the Bastion Serpentis and the Tyrantine Cabal. The plaque bearing the name Leander de Terrell casts reflections onto your face. Time and the heat of the candles have not yet dulled its shine. All right. Clear your mind and offer up a prayer to the God Emperor. A fervent whisper escapes your lips, breaking the repose of the chapel. You recite the litanies again and again until the words run out altogether. Their absence feels right as calm and stillness gently envelop your very being. All right, swear to the God Emperor that you shall endure all in his name, no matter the cost. Monodominant. There we go. The words of the litany of endurance echo off the chapel's walls, growing ever louder, more fervent, more fierce, tearing through the veil of apathy and grief. As you raise your eyes to the polished metal, you meet the gaze of a person determined to carry their burden to the very end. A deep breath takes the swarming thoughts away. The chapel is filled with muffled sounds and the smell of incense. It is time to go back to the mission. All right. And what do we have here? Do we have another orb? We do not. Little opportunities like that to, learn more about the world, round out your character. I quite like it. What's this? We got loot here that we missed. Lots of loot. High octane Promethean canisters, rad packs, synths, sealed hermetic infusions, and Tersarnak charge. Sounds good. All coming with us. Archivum Serpentis, that's where we're headed to next. Let's open up our journal. All right, take the gun cutter into your service. After taking critical damage on Iocanthus, the gun cutter verdict has been restored by the servants of the machine cult. The acolyte must head to the terminal Lachesis Omega and find the pilot, Urimus Haas, aboard the gun cutter. Orientation point, the elevator in the southern part of the Bastion Serpentis, past the atrium. Southern part, okay. So, past the atrium, probably this way. So that is where we shall head. All right. Bastion Serpentis guard, halt, acolyte. Wary eyes examine you mechanically from head to toe. By order of the Lord Inquisitor, individual searches are to be conducted in the interest of Bastion Serpentis security. Stand up straight, arms and legs slightly apart. It is just a routine check, nothing personal. I'm going to say, well, he knows I'm an acolyte. Allow yourself to be searched, as you say. Praise the throne, I get at least one decent acolyte per watch. One of the guards trains his weapon on you while another methodically searches your pockets, boots, sleeves, and pouches. What is this thing? The guard turns the sealed metal tube you found unattended in the Bastion's halls over in his hands. I don't see a sanctioning tag from Chronicle Keeper Bloodsworth. Removing any documents from the Archivum Serpentis without his permission is strictly forbidden. Go and return it to him. All right, I'll take the tube to the Chronicle Keeper. Listen, I will not... Wait, you agreed? Just like that? It must be my lucky day then. Go, Acolyte, the search is over. That was kind of funny. All right. So off we go. Back to the atrium. And I believe this is the way to the Gid Cutter. Archflagellant. And I'm getting turned around here. Yeah, this is the right way. Terminal Lacesius Omega. That's the right spot. Okay, and we got this disease observation journal. We'll go ahead and collect that. And I need to let my cat out. I'll be right back. All right. Queen Tiamat says, "Peach or Par?" That was the mighty Par. She knows she's not shy to let me know with her claws when she wants to be let out. Queen Tiamat, so she was whacking at me from my chair here. But I find it very endearing that you're familiar with both Peach and Par at this point. Par, that's right, the mighty Par. All right, here we are. Quartermaster Numis, what's this? Oh. Quartermaster Numis. Hands off, if you please. If you need supplies, come back later. Okay. Oh, I see. It's just me. Just me here. Gotcha. Okay. Where am I headed? The verdict. Maybe that's where we're headed, to the verdict? Let's see. We're going the right way. A persistent smell of engine oil, dust, and ozone emanates from the discharge batteries in the compartment. So I think this is the way to the gun cutter, sounds like. All right. And there is Yermis Haas. Let's take a look at what we have here. I guess maybe this is the cockpit? The machines in the engineering compartment are making ragged, almost strained noises. Their heat sears your face. That doesn't sound good. The vidscreen's display pics of various compartments supplemented by lines of sacred runic signs and prayer tech formulas. All right. And there is Yermis Haas. The pilot seat is equipped with an array of different buttons and levers of an unknown purpose. Let's talk to Yermis Haas here. Yermis Haas, Commander, my regards. A tall and painfully thin man in uniform bows to you with such zeal that it seems he might snap in half. A sly smile plays on his sharp-nosed face. Yermis Haas, pilot of the gun cutter Verdict, ready to serve in the name of the God Emperor. It is fortunate that you've been appointed as the new commander of the gun cutter. After Master de Terrell's death, the Verdict and I could have ended up with anyone. It's a relief to see a familiar face. As he mentions your fallen mentor, the pilot grows somewhat somber. So then, shall we begin your assuming of command? I'm going to say, what is the ship's condition? You've been roughed up badly, to be sure, but the tech priests of the Bastion Serpentis did solid work. I personally kept an eye on them. Pick any bolt, I saw it being screwed in, and even gave a few instructions myself. A smug smile never leaves Yermis's thin face, as he blatantly exaggerates his role in repairing the ship. I'm going to say, how are you faring after Valor? The pilot's animated face turns to stone. I try not to remember, Commander. I've become rather good at it. I thank the God Emperor for every dreamless night. I'm going to say, how do I take command of the gun cutter? The Verdict is a ship with history and character, Commander. There are certain traditions to follow. To begin with, you must make your first Vox transmission from the communication sanctum. I'll contact you via the comm bead when you're finished. We'll also test the internal Vox communication while we're at it. A piece of technology used to communicate over short distances or to record sound. The comm bead. An earpiece device used for communication over short distances. All right. Very well. I shall return. Why are you calling me Commander? Pay it no mind. Haas waves his augmented hand as if shooing away insects. Naval habits. Calling you Captain feels off. The ship's too small for that, but Commander sounds dignified and fitting. Very well. I'll return shortly. So, let's take a look. All right. Test the Verdict's Vox Center. All right. So, how do we find... What is this? Amar. Maybe that's it? Nope. Maybe here? Nope. How do we test the Vox Center that they are talking about here? Let's take a look. Inspect. The remains of porridge are stuck tight to the plate, and the mugs are blackened with recap stains. The rolled up mattress gives off a faint, musty smell. And what about here? Unfinished reports are scattered across the table. The half-empty glasses give off an aroma of stale amasec, whatever that is. An empty board intended for the visual placement of investigation materials. Ooh, that's going to come in handy. That goes to the terminal. Let's try this door. Where are we headed? There's Hamar. The air in the armory is thick with the smell of metal and sacred unguents. Idling about, eh? Drop by the armory, and you have a spare minute. I'm no cog priest, but I know a thing or two about weapon maintenance. Okay. We have Epione here. My apologies, but at this moment I wish to avail myself of the rare opportunity for solitary reflection. An old tome describing surgical procedure. There are fresh notes scratched into the fragile pages. The hulking diagnostic module crackles softly. One of the flashing lumens is smeared with dried blood. Yeesh. Always gory. I'm assuming we're going to find what we need to test somewhere here as we go about exploring this part of the ship. The atmospheric valve is wrapped in several layers of repair tape, which are all that holds the flimsy construct in one place. What do we have here? The storeroom shelves are full of provision boxes and other supplies necessary for the ship's ongoing operations. Try the door. Xaro here. I am sorry, Wyvern. This is not a good time to discuss worldly matters, but if you wish, you may kneel beside me and pray to him. What do we have here? This is probably my quarters. Is there any part of the ship that we have not yet explored? Let's move this way. Alright, the once luxurious regicide board, replete with finely carved pieces, is now worn down from frequent use. The thick glass of the porthole reflects your translucent image. A voxcaster used for service crackles beneath ancient prayer books. The pages of the tome are imbued with the acrid smell of candle smoke. But where the F is the Vox Center? Where is the Vox Center, damn it? That's all that I want for Christmas, a Vox Center. Let's take a look. I feel like we've explored every part of the ship. That's my quarters there. Where is the Vox Center? Doors admit. We've been through here, right? There we go. No, we hadn't been everywhere. We were missing this room here. Alright, the machine spirits are agitated. Crackles, clicks, and beeps fill the air, as if the bulky cogitators were communicating with each other. Go ahead and turn on the Vox station. Alright. Yermis Haas, the comm bead in your ear activates. Yermis' voice cuts through the static. God Emperor protects. How do you read me, Commander? I'm going to say, I'm done with the communication sanctum. What's next? Servants of the Adeptus Ministerium have delivered a new tome of ship's litanies to your quarters, Commander. You should collect it, and while you're there, see how everything's been set up for you. Exceptional comfort, you know. Pass out. Alright, so now we know where our quarters are. So we'll just make our way directly there. And there's our goods. And there's the litany of Avoidus. A heavy-bound book smelling of sacred unguents is slightly scorched at one corner. Yermius Haas. The God Emperor guides us, Commander. I have no clue what happened to the last book, but aboard the book verdict, we have a custom. The new captain places a tome of the Litania Voidus in the ship's chapel and offers praise to the God Emperor. So you'll need to go to the chapel too. What is the Litiana Voidus? A collection of litanies devoted to travel through the void, protection from the horrors of the warp, and maintenance of the ship's machine spirits. The essentials, you know. Machine spirit. A spirit believed by the adherents of the cult Mechanicus to inhabit and control any technology in existence. All right, heading to the chapel. And there it is. All right, we're going to go ahead and place the tome. The heavy book lands on the pedestal with a soft thud. The pages fall open to the words, "May the darkness of the void fear the reach of his faithful." All right. Offer prayers to the God Emperor. The words of the litany fill your soul with confidence and calm. Amid the resonant silence of the ship, a barely audible groan of vibration spreads through the air. The very bulkheads echo your devotion. You begin to discern the melody the ship is singing. UMS Haas, Commander, the shipboard cogitator reports the chapel have resumed operation. The pilot's voice in your comm beat shatters the illusion. I'll be waiting for you on the bridge. There's just one last formality left. All right. Okay, so we got that taken care of. We're going to make our way back to the bridge with UMS Haas. Commander, I, by the will of the God Emperor, the ordained pilot and keeper of the Imperial vessel Verdict, place my life and loyalty in your hands. The pilot bows to you and makes the sign of the Aquila. Congratulations. You are now, by all the proper rights, the captain of the ship. Can you hear her bulkhead groan? The gun cutter likes you. I'm going to say, the Verdict is beautiful. Haas swells with pride as if he built the Verdict himself. And she'll get even better, Commander. I promise. I'm going to say, is that all? Yes, Commander. We can take off right now if such is your wish. Give me a couple of minutes to warm up the engines and recite the litany of ignition. After that, we can be off, be it onto the world's surface or onto the depths or into the depths of the void. But we are not going to go anywhere just yet. We're going to go back to the terminal here. We're going to go ahead and check out the archive that the Lord Inquisitor has suggested that we investigate before heading off on our investigations. So let's see where we're at. Let's go to loot. Oh, sleight of hand. We're definitely not going to be successful at that, so I'm not giving a bother. Let's see what the journal says. Select a priority mission. The Acolyte must make a choice. Go to the spires for the sacred procession, or hurry to the lower levels of the Hive City before another seismo-aquatic catastrophe strikes the Have Zone. Disruptor. Okay, among the... this is a side quest. Among the Acolyte's personal items, an unlawfully appropriated manuscript from the Archivum Serpentis has been discovered. The Bastion Guard insists on the manuscript's immediate return to the custody of the Chronicle Keeper Bloodworth. So that's what we shall do. We shall return to Bloodworth. All right. I will be back in a moment. And we're back. And we leveled up. Let's go ahead and drop save. That is very exciting. We'll start my character here. All right, so now we're level 3. And we have the following options to choose. We got to choose a specialization. Combat Disruption Specialist. All attacks and abilities inflicting negative effects apply Combat Disrupt Suppression. Demoralization Specialist. The enemy must pass a metal test with a -20 penalty or suffer -4 morale. If they pass, they suffer only a -2 penalty. Medium Armor Specialist. The character gains +50 defense if they're wearing medium armor. And we can choose Telekinesis. We can't choose Pyromancy. We can't choose Sanctic. I think probably medium armor. Let's see. Agility. We just don't have much in the way of agility. Let's see. Oh, that gives us a +5 to willpower. Demoralization Specialist. That's kind of tempting. I like that. We're going to go ahead and select the Demoralization Specialist. We're going to get +5 to Fellowship, +5 to Willpower, +10 to Fellowship Intimidation, and we're going to get +10 to Perception Wits. I like that. I like that. That's going to be good for us. We choose Telekinesis. Additional Lore Warp, Toughness Resistance. So that's not too bad either, really. Adding Telekinesis to our menu of abilities here. That's also really not bad. Power accumulation. This is interesting. David says, what are you going for? Range or melee weapons in the game that you're playing? So for my main character, I'm trying to be sort of a melee fighter. Kind of caught with what I should do here. Just not too familiar with oh, I see. So I can improve my weapon skill or my willpower. Yeah, I have really no idea, truthfully, with what I'm doing here. Medium armor, reinforced plating. You know what? We can afford to make mistakes, I feel. So let's go with this. That's going to boost our Lord Warp. Let's go next. And let's just invest more into our willpower here, because why not? There we go. And now we have this character to level up. Got to choose a specialization here. Let's see, anti-armor specialist, area effect specialist, dual wielding specialist, heavy armor specialist. Kind of tough to figure out, you know, which would be the best choice for this character. I'm guessing maybe tactical maneuver specialist, because I'll probably be wanting to move next to my allies quite frequently. So let's go ahead and choose that. And characteristics, let's see. What is my high stat here for this character? Intelligence. Wow, that's through the roof there. I'm not too sure. Origin advancement. Tactical maneuvers. Ballistic skill. Yeah, we'll add some more into intelligence. We're going to go ahead and apply that. This guy is kind of like the melee guy, right? So let's see. Haymar. Let's take a look at... Do we want to... Yeah, let's take a look at... Haymar's stats here. So let's see. Ballistic skill 45. So he's kind of a... There you go. Look at that weapon he's got. He's rocking these heavy stubber. It's kind of cool. Okay. All right. So let's level him up. We'll level him up as a burst fire specialist. Why not? And let's go ahead and level up that ballistic skill. That's looking good. Next up, we're dealing with Sarrow here. And let's see. Combat disruption specialist. Medium armor specialist. Hey, we got Christy out there in the Stygian Abyss of Discord. I don't think Christy's keeping up with the stream, but always good to see Christy pop up. I am truly lost when it comes to leveling up my characters here. I'm not so sure what kind of makes sense for us here. 2 demoralization specialists, does that make sense? I don't think so. Let's go with Sanctic Sword of Faith, because I do hear that Sarrow here can turn into quite the formidable melee combatant. So we'll go ahead and drop in those saves real quick. And see where we're at now. Archivum Serpentis, that's where we're headed to next. Fernal says he does have a huge gun. He does. By your leave, keeper, according to existing protocols, responsibility for the safekeeping and issuance of archival documents lies squarely with... ... This is an outrage. I'm going to file a complaint with the Grand Quartermaster regarding the non-observance of previously established agreements. Perhaps then we'll be provided with some competent guards. Throne. The old man has plenty of guards in the archive, and yet somehow he always snaps at us. I wonder which of these damned acolytes forgot to return something. All right. So yeah, we'll head in here. See what's up with. Are we going the right way? No, we're not. There we go. Now we are. So we're looking for Psyker Acolyte, Server Archivist. There's the Chronicle Keeper, Bloodworth. Let's talk to our man, Bloodworth. Alright, the Gaunt Man raises his augmented eyes to you. The massive ocular lenses whir as they grind into focus upon your face. Ah, you're the Acolyte who recently delivered a most remarkable artifact from the Iocanthus system. It was originally described by the xenoarchaeologist Marcus Lucius Trenzers in his Contemplations. A great achievement for the Tarentine Cabal. All thanks to you. The man nods in approval. All right, we hand over the tube. I found an unclaimed manuscript in the Bastion halls. It seems to belong to the Archivum Serpentis. All right. Unclaimed, you say, says Bloodkeeper. Has some acolyte once again neglected the sacred rules governing the use of the archives? And where were these dunces on guard duty looking? The keeper's face turns abruptly pale as his gaze falls upon the lid of the tube. What is this? A text from the restricted section. But how? These documents are not to be transferred from the Archivum Serpentis, nor even from this very hall. He glances at the data slate resting on the desk before once more examining the tube. By the throne, someone has fixed an incorrect identifier to these papers. And not to these alone. Several other documents from the restricted section have entered general circulation and been dispersed throughout the Bastion. They must be returned at once to their proper place. Yes, I shall see to it. Thank you, Acolyte. I'm going to say, do you need any assistance with lost documents? Chronicle Bloodworth says, assistance? No. Yes. Perhaps. He hesitates, but then hands over a data key. One of the cogitators in this hall, on the level below, contains records of all requests made to the restricted section. If you can determine who's responsible for the unauthorized transfer of documents from the archive, I shall contrive some means of expressing my gratitude. I'm going to say, who are you? I've not seen you here before. Keeper Bloodworth says, I am Chronicle Keeper Bloodworth, assigned to the Archivum Serpentis on the Lord Inquisitor's orders 2 cycles and a dozen turns ago. I oversee the preservation of tomes, scrolls, documents, and most importantly, history itself, as the keepers before me have done. Yes, that should be comprehensive enough. Could you tell me more about the Archivum Serpentis? With a dry, nearly emaciated hand, he gestures across the hall. This abode allows one to barely scratch the surface of the knowledge that lies embedded within the depths of the Bastion Serpentis. Only the most frequently requested and most necessary to pursue works are assembled here. The true treasure is concealed from uninitiated eyes in the restricted section, and even deeper than that. If one day you decide to devote your life to their preservation, I shall assist you in drafting a petition for transfer into our cohort. To begin your acquaintance with this section, I would recommend exploring the archival shelves. Choose something light at first, the memoirs of Inquisitor Valenus Cade, for instance. You may also consult the auditory records stored within the cogitator on the level below. Some of those I myself find rather engaging. All right, there we go. So let's take a look at the goods that we have here. Lathe crafted blades, synths, and transuranic charge. We'll grab all that good stuff and go on our way exploring this place. It screams, rings to the heavens, devastation approaches. Damn. Accursed sorcerer. It's high time all their kind were put in side shackles and sent down to the detention cells. Oof. Rough. A study on the Bastion Serpentis. Take a look at this. And what is most intriguing is that the walls of the Bastion Serpentis were raised with a paramount purpose to conceal the greatest multitude of secrets. Rooms between walls, rooms beneath stairs, rooms below rooms, and so on and so on and so on. Hundreds, thousands of secrets have been lost in the winding walls of the Bastion, and just as many will be lost in the future. Take, for instance, the study of Inquisitor Barnabas Grizz. Once this venerable man was among the finest members of the Ordo Xenos, delved into the nature of light and shadow, and bottled the spawn of darkness. His study, they say, held the grim secrets of his research. However, later the room was remodeled, given a new purpose, and knowledge of its hidden places was lost beneath the weight of decades. Who knows what Inquisitor Grizz hid from prying eyes? Who knows? All right. Let's take a look at this. An old plaque at the base of the lectern reads, "As the last star fades from the sky, darkness does not triumph. The stars perish nightly, so that the dawn might bloom once more. Render the last offering to the day, and the secrets of shadow will unfold before you." Brutal says, "Doing great. I hope you are doing well, Christy, as do we all." Thanks, Brutal. Expressing our sentiment to our old friend Christy there. All right, we can interact with this. So obviously, over time, I'm hoping we can, peel back some of these mysteries and unlock some of these secrets. All right. Representatives of the ecclesiarchy would deem the contents of most of these books in the open archive section to be, at best, controversial. Let's take a look at this. Lore heresy test failed. Lines of fine print are crisscrossed with notes, blotches, and smudges, leaving the text utterly illegible. Okay, we can use the access key here. A steady hum emanates from the cogitator's innards. The machine spirit has been roused from its slumber and is awaiting further instruction. Okay. View the request log. Over the past 5 days, access to the restricted section has been requested by Servo Archivist, 15 requests, Acolyte of the Inquisition, no requests, Chronicle Keeper, no requests. All right. So there we go. So it's Servo Archivist. Let's go back here. Chronicle Keeper Bloodworth says, "Poor Gallum. Catching your look, the keeper decides to explain. That psyker, the one the guards punished, he studied Comus much as you do now, but he failed to endure the burden of such knowledge." Okay, so I could have sworn that we had. All right. So that's been finished. I don't think we actually do have a quest from Bloodkeeper. What's his face? We could request a keep from the a book from the Forbidden Archives, but we don't have a need to do so just yet. So let's go ahead. What's this? Select all characters. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. We can go ahead and head out of here. Let's see. Let's take a look at what's going on here, actually. We haven't fully explored the extent of this whole place. We got bloodstains on the floor there. And what is this? Acolyte. All right, you confess to the deliberate distortion of the Imperial Creed. Remember, voluntary admission will greatly facilitate the work of this investigation. Ah, okay, this is some sort of like interrogation room, perhaps? That's why You got the blood there. What do we have here? Yeah. Really, really dark. Oh, there you go. They're probably going to work on these guys. Your transgression is not music, as you call it, but in the concealment of your psychic's corruption. Tell us, how did you manage to hide for so long? If not for a fortunate accident, you might never have been discovered. The acolyte says, you were found amid 100 corpses, among them your entire platoon, along with dozens of heretics. How do you explain this? Latent Psyker, I swear on my homeworld, the God Emperor himself preserved me. He appeared to me in golden radiance and turned the bullets aside. Acolyte, and why would the God Emperor save a guardsman from a penal company? No, something else is at work here. So is that it? That could be it. That could be the extent of this little cutscene, I think. But kind of cool. These little asides. All right, let's try this door here. Sportum local. I will tell you everything, Master Interrogator. Everything, and about everyone. And about myself, too. How I lied, betrayed, led others to heresy. Master Portum Local. I am a thief, a heretic, and a Xenos lover. Torture me, Master Interrogator. Brand me, throttle me, cut off my fingers, then execute me. But make it painful, I beg you. A sadist. Alright, I'll leave them to it. And let's see, what do we have here? Training acolytes. Let's try the Ex-Rider Sergeant here. Glory to the God Emperor! A woman clad in Cadian Catron Astra Militarum armor salutes you. You notice inquisitorial symbols etched onto her pauldrons. Welcome to the training grounds, acolyte. I am the Exerciter Sergeant of this complex. Masochist. Yeah, there we go. There we go, Tiamat. I'm gonna say, what is this place? The training grounds, as I believe I mentioned. We've used these on void ships during long voyages to make sure our guardsmen didn't lose their skills. And here at the Bastion, well, let's just say I've been putting my experience in dealing with long bouts of inaction to good use. A hint of grim amusement enters the Cadian's voice. Her violet eyes, however, remain impassive. I instruct acolytes in close and medium-range combat. So you don't find yourselves overwhelmed during a trench fight or in the confines of some hab block. Epione looks around the room and sighs heavily. So many hours wasted here. I could have been studying specimens, but instead, Inquisitor de Terral made me run around and shoot things until I developed symptoms of asthenia. All right, I wish to train. A worthy intent, but I can't help you with that. The training facility is temporarily closed. All right, I must go. So much for that. Life is war. Don't squander the chance to prepare for it. It's a great quote. Life is war. Take a look around with the crew here. All right. Let's take a look at this door. What do we have here? Practice basic combat techniques. Cannot use that, but we do have goods here. Try sleight of hand. And we got it this time. Synths and sealed hermetic infusions. We'll grab all that good stuff. Alright, I think we're done here, so let's go ahead and head back to the terminal Lacus Omega. David says, you know what type of enemies you'll be facing in this game? I do not, David. That is still... Oh, wait, there's loot. Gotta go back for the loot. Alright, let's take a look. Where is that loot? Here is the goods. Oh, it's beyond these walls? Let's try to see if we can open them. We can. So I'm playing a Sanctic Psyker, David Rumor. That is the character that I'm playing. Essay of the Morning Star. Okay, grab that. All right, the weight tome titled Liber Xenologus is chained to the shelf and covered so densely with purity seals that not even its spine is visible. These must be the restricted section of the archives. Interesting. That is right, Psychers do usually use a staff of some sort. Alright, I think that's it. I think that was all that I could get out of here, so... let's go here for the moment and see if we could try attempting that puzzle that we ran across. Is that it? Yeah, it was here, right? So let's try this. Let's see if we... No suitable items so far. What about over here? There we go. So that has been done. That is empty. We have loot here. We can take this out, skull branded in its left eye socket. We'll just leave that in there for the time being. Hopefully we'll run across the other object soon enough, but let's make our way to the terminal and the gun cutter. All right, I think we're ready to get into the verdict here. Very appropriate name for an Inquisitor, the verdict. Fire up the ship. All right. The navigation. There we go. We're going to go to the Marisportum Sectoris. Are you sure you want to move to this location? Accept. That is our party. We're going to accept that too. David says Inquisitors are similar to Commissars. Yeah, I can see that.
We're all gonna die in here. The sea will come for us again.
Oppenheimer! They've come to punish us,
Right. Acolyte Wyvern has been reinstated. Select a priority mission that we've done. Excellent. Let's take a look. So we have done that. Storm Survivors has been completed. And I believe we've started this one. Echoes of the Unearthed. Alright, so we've done this. Now we need to find Inquisitor Millicentilla and Sister Septima.
One man's misfortune is another's sustenance. That's life.
And you'll notice, as Slander has explained, that Dark Heresy will be fully voiced, and as the beta proceeds along here, we should see more and more of these voiceover lines added to the game. Let's talk to Eyeball. Mara Sportum is better than you think, Upper Hiver. Just don't let it eat you up. Okay. Door is locked with a heavy-duty padlock without a key. Not even an explosion can help you open it. We got, what is this? Oh, wow, look at that. I injured my arm. Veronial says, fully voiced in the Owlcat game will be so nice. I agree. There's a lot of dialogue in these games, so that's great. So you can actually hear like this environmental banter. It's voiced. Verno says there's so much dialogue missing voices in Rogue Trader. Yeah, they just look at that. We got goods here. Cracked data slate. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. A man in sumptuous clothing is shown on the cracked screen. The pic bears a caption. Esteval Bar Le Duc went missing 2 weeks ago. Last seen in the Marisportum Sectoris. Appearance: blonde hair, green eyes, wearing a red jacket with a gold-colored scarf around his neck. Height above average, build slender. Identifying features: gold implant in place of his right hand. Tattoo of 2 skulls on his left leg. The data slate owner left some personal notes below. Marisportum is dangerous, and it smells like an outhouse, but his relatives paid the magistratum handsomely to look for him. I need to speed things up, or I can say goodbye to my fee. Esteval was seen on the shore. Madman, why would he come down here? Well, locals talk about a maniac dismembering people. A lead. A delicate noble could fall victim to such a person. Found unidentified body parts on the shore. Strange clothes. Hopefully not Esteval. Similar remains found on the lower levels. Cut symmetrically. Killer's signature style. I need to keep looking. The last entry is corrupted. It has a holographic map that looks like Marisportum. The text is unreadable, but the creator has marked 2 points and drawn a line between them. Alright, we're going to go ahead and collect that. Could be something useful in the future. I cannot believe... Well, obviously we're not the most athletic team in the world, so I think that explains why we struggled with that check. What do we have here? 50 centers of plasteel plate block your way out of the Hab zone. Silence reigns all around you, and only the quiet hissing of the Vox hanging on the wall beside the door catches your attention. I'm going to say, address the Vox operator. Why am I locked in here?
As I've said before, civilians are not allowed to leave the Marisportum perimeter. And no, we are not coming to an understanding. Wait a minute, I don't know you.
There we go, that's another example of a voice line here. I am a member of the Inquisition. You cannot restrict my free movement.
This is the gatekeeper of Gateway P344 speaking. The gate is locked due to an elevated threat level. For permission to exit, contact an authorized official.
What's the reason for the elevated threat level?
Sea quakes, toxic spills, landslides, rampant heretics. Take your pick. It seems to me you made it just in time before another flood. But it's inevitable. And when it comes, there'll be new attempts to breach the gate.
Who can authorize my exit?
You'll need Inquisitor Millicentilia. Sister Septima is authorized to give such orders too.
Where can I find Inquisitor Millicentilia?
Not a clue. Do you think the Inquisitor keeps someone like me informed of her whereabouts? All I know is that she is currently within the perimeter.
Where can I find Sister Septima?
Sister Septima's detachment set up a camp somewhere in the Marisportum Sectoris.
Alright, step away. Try the door. There we got Eyeball. Hello there, Upper Hybris. You need to know a couple of things before you go any further. The grimy man proudly shows off the aluminum tattoos glowing dimly under his skin. I'm here to make sure everybody knows what's right out of the gate. The Baron and us, his carvers, are in charge of this town. We keep order here, so watch yourselves, and you'll be good. Show the sigil. I'll do whatever I want, and watch whoever I want. Eyeball examines the symbol closely, then lifts an intrigued gaze to you. What's that? Looks like a badge or a pendant. Do you want to trade it? Sarrow gives you a sympathetic glance. Have mercy on this wretched soul, and do not punish him. It's unlikely that the unfortunates who are trapped in the cesspit from birth to death would recognize the symbols of the Holy Oros. Educate him. It's a symbol of the Holy Inquisition. It means I am an agent of the Golden Throne. Eyeball. He frowns. Inquisition. What would the Great Inquisition want with us? He looks around in haste and nods to himself. You know, go wherever you want. I'd better go too. There we go. Inquisitor privilege. Let's go ahead and select all characters. Move deeper. Change warband. What does this do? So we can go ahead and change up our party members there if we had more party members to change into. What's this? Crowd of onlookers prevents you from approaching the chest. Disperse the crowd with your sigil.
Run away!
Hey, that worked. Let's try this. There we go. We got it done. We got a Medicaid kit for our troubles, maglev impeller, motion predictor sensor, rad packs. Good stuff. What's this?
Glory be to the God Emperor. Will it ever end?
The locals have locked the passage on the other side to keep the sermon excited crowd from forcing its way into the residential district. Guess we're going to keep on exploring.
The third rule for keeping the pipe clean, don't leave pieces of your body in the pipe. The fourth rule for...
That's cute. I love the fact that you got this environmental dialogue now voiced for Roniel. Let's go ahead and turn this on. Got some goods here. Ooh, axe, data conduit, cable coil, package of mesh weave. Pick up all that good stuff too. This is really weird. What is this stuff? Oh, it looks like it's some sort of gigantic creature. There we go. The carcass of the sea monster shows clear signs of mutation. The precise cause remains a mystery. So that is what they're doing. Kind of like the great aquatic creatures that dwell on this planet.
So if I take on 3 more shifts, I can become the 5th assistant to the deputy attendant. I'm gonna have to step it up.
Woman in rags. Ecclesiarchy servant. Oh, interesting. A woman swathed in rags quite skillfully avoids drawing attention, her eyes intently sweeping over the people around her. This interaction has already been explored. Oh, very interesting. So, let's go back. Let's go back here. That was interesting. So we can actually... Let's see what happens here.
Saint Sibelius, send me a heavy...
So, if...
The third rule for keeping the pipe clean, don't leave...
When will we know when we can actually investigate someone?
So, if I take... Oh, Saint
Hmm.
Sibelius, send me a heavy shift.
We go back to that lady there. It's only becomes apparent when we, when we interact with them like that. Okay.
I have a shadow living in my head. It's watching me. I need to behave, or the shadow will come out of my head and kill me.
Feeds us. The sea hates us. Only it knows what awaits us.
Interesting. Okay. So we do have to, like, if we want to prompt that investigation, we do need to select these characters. Okay, nothing there. Deaconess NVIDIA. Novus, goods. Sister Septima. We found Sister Septima here. All right, let's talk to Deaconess NVIDIA.
Truly allowed to behold an agent of the Golden Throne. One of those who fervently serve the God Emperor within the ranks of the Holy Inquisition. Saint's blood. I can hardly believe it.
A stout woman in a loose ecclesiarchy robe stares at you in astonishment.
I am Deaconess Invida, a servant of the Adeptus Ministorum. By the will of the God Emperor, Cardinal Ignato himself has permitted me to bestow blessings of the Scintillan mission upon the worthy.
Official representatives of the ecclesiarchy, also known as the Adeptus Ministorum. I'm going to say, what is your position in the ecclesiarchy?
Several cycles ago, despite my unworthiness, I was raised to the esteemed rank of Deaconess and entrusted with the vigil over the reliquariums of Scintilla. Such service alone is uplifting, but aiding true heroes such as yourselves.
All right, Invada closes her eyes and whispers a prayer of gratitude. What brought you to this place?
Thousands of times I have prayed to the God Emperor to grant me a chance. A chance to serve the Imperium and humanity. And so, at last, there came the hour to choose who among the clerics would accompany the Blessed Sister into these lands. It took many pleas to be given a place in her retinue. And now, with the greatest devotion, I aid the defenders of humanity.
Yeah, I see the blessings available to me. Okay. We can try to sell all junk. There we go. So that's the junk that we have here. And what can we buy with this? Noble gloves. Sword. Doom Flame pistol. Oh, that's interesting. So we can't sell the junk for coin. We really gotta see. It looks like we have to trade it for these things, huh? So they don't have coins. Executioner's bolter. All right. Interesting stuff. Dreaded chainsword. Gloves of the Intriguer. Cloak of the Zealot. Alpha bolter. All sorts of fun stuff here that we can collect. So let's go ahead and return all that junk for the time being. And let's see what else we got here. Medicae kit, repair kit, plasma shock generators, warp bleach canisters, all that good stuff. Isolese M88.
Ignition unit is registering an approaching layperson. High probability of ensuing communication. What is the reason for your query, layperson?
The entire demeanor of the tech priest, from the flickering ocular lenses to the nervously clenched fingers, exhibits extreme tension, clearly triggered by her presence. Would be great in the final release of the game if they do actually have a narrator to read out these texts as well. Who are you?
This cognition unit carries the designation Isolus M88. He is part of the Lathe World Fleet's contingent stationed at the Expeditionary Corps in the Maris Sportum Sectorus. This unit executes regulated issuing of equipment from the Adeptus Mechanicus repositories, on condition of adequate access level.
Lathe World Fleet. Members of the Adeptus Mechanicus who arrived on Scintilla as part of the Cult Mechanicus fleet. What do you do here?
Isolus M88 provides maintenance for sacred mechanisms in the service of Sister Septima's detachment. Currently, primary duties are not being executed due to unsolicited communication, causing the unit to experience Tier 5 torment.
I need equipment. Interesting. Okay, repair kits. Bruiser armor. Lots of choices about, different things you can pick up here. Fire of the Messiah, self-repairing armor. Plasma gun, blazing hatred, Imperial Navy, breacher armor. Okay. There is Sister Septima. Let's go ahead and expect this. Is that a success? It was. Gain experience 2. Sister Septima's banner. It commemorates an obscure saint of the Order of the Sacred Rose who devoted her life to service.
Are you in your right mind, Acolyte? Another stunt like that, and I will consider it tantamount to heresy.
All right. Sister Septima was not pleased with that. Let's talk to Sister Septima.
Leander de Taral's Acolyte. I remember you.
Sister Septima studies you with a steady, appraising look, making something inside you clench.
Rarely does one meet acolytes who bear the burden of their duty with such zeal. Continue to be steadfast in your undertakings, and you shall learn the grace of serving the God Emperor.
I'm going to say, Lord Inquisitor Zerbe sent me to assist you, sister, yet I know nothing of your objectives.
I thank the God Emperor for this. Corruption cannot disturb an empty mind. For now, you need only know what I tell you. First, Inquisitor Millicentilia has lost the greater part of her servants in this hab zone. This has slowed our investigations, and, consequently, our joint work. Find out what happened to them as soon as you can. Otherwise, Inquisitor Millicentilia will be forced to spend time she should be devoting to saving Calixis. Second, my servant Dirkus was to make contact with the local preacher Ursimus. His orders were to question Ursimus and bring me the particulars I require. Dirkus has the gall not to present himself before me. You must descend into the bowels of this rotten place, learn where Dirkus is now, and bring him to me. You will recognize my servant by the robes of the Ecclesiarchy, black hair cropped short, and the implant plate set into his forehead.
Hey Mars, since when we are obliged to act as lackeys for the Adepta Sororitas?
The Lord Inquisitor has transferred all of you to serve under my command for the duration of this mission. Therefore, at present, you are to follow my orders. What happens afterward, only the God Emperor knows.
Septima turns her heavy gaze on your companion. Do you work alongside Inquisitor Millicentilla?
Inquisitor Millicentilia is conducting her own investigation here. Her efforts are, without doubt, directed at supporting the Tyrantine Cabal. Yet, upon learning of my arrival, she did not see fit to join my righteous mission. Our talks about working together have stalled, and she now avoids my company.
Right, Wit's test succeeded. Her frosty tone leaves no uncertainty. Despite her attempt to make light of the situation, there is no love lost between the Sister of Battle and the Inquisitor.
Given Inquisitor Millicentilia's dire circumstances, it is all the more surprising that her agent, Rufinus Scragg, is probing the Marisportum Sectorus on some mission. I must know what he is trying to sniff out. My people have lost track of him. Therefore, I entrust this task to you.
Sister glances briefly at the data slate she holds in her hands. We got a case opened on the trail, including acquired. Millicentilla's agent, Rufinus Scrag. All right.
According to the report, the agent bears an old burn covering half of his face, and an augmentation on the lower part of his left leg, below the knee. These distinguishing features will guide you in your search.
So Craig's whereabouts are unknown to you.
He who is charged with watching the agent failed in his duty, and now pays the price for that negligence. This, however, was merely a temporary lapse.
You want me to spy on the agents of another Inquisitor?
Yes, I want to be kept informed of developments, and Mistress Millicentilia is slow to share intelligence. My people are needed here, but you are a different matter.
I'll do whatever I can.
It is heartening to see that you grasp the significance of this mission.
Are you suggesting we search the whole half zone to find Durkis?
To avoid fruitless searching, go to Confessor Ursimus, head of the Flock of Repentance. He dwells in the so-called Upper Town. You will find him at the very top. The workers' devotional service should be drawing to a close, so you may pass through the gates freely. Say that I sent you, and he will reveal every secret. You arrived with sufficient haste, so I judge Durkis could not have been swept away in the toxic surge. Bring him to me alive and whole.
You head to Maris Portum before going to the Spire, so obviously, you know, depending upon the choices you make, the actual options available to you, the characters and actions you can take probably change depending upon that choice, which is kind of cool, that reactivity. All right. Find the Preacher Durkis and return him. The objective is clear.
I am not finished yet. Since the last tidal surge, people have been disappearing from these parts. Most of the missing were certainly swallowed by the raging flood, yet others vanished afterward. People continue to go missing. On some nights, as many as 50 can be unaccounted for. Among other tasks, you must discover what became of those unfortunates, and who is responsible for their disappearance. That is all for now. Go and see to it.
All right. And go to see to it we shall, but that's going to have to wait for another session because we are hitting our time here. I've been going at it for a while, and I think... Whoops-a-days. It's high time we call this adventure concluded for the time being. The adventure is ending for now, but I thoroughly enjoyed my first look at the beta for Warhammer 40,000 Dark Heresy. I'm looking forward to exploring more of this planet that we have landed upon and uncovering the mysteries in the bowels of the Maris Sportum, where we currently are with our warband. And I agree with you, Feronial. The game is looking very cool, and just like you, I'm excited for its release too. It's gonna be fun. So I'm looking forward to it. Like usually, I don't like playing betas. Feronial, I'd rather experience the game, you know, with 1.0 release. But I make an exception for Dark Heresy. I think it's gonna be kind of cool to check out the beta, do a run through of the beta, and then wait for release to tackle a full playthrough on this channel. So Feronial, thank you so much for dropping by. David Woomer, Queen Tiamat. Who else do we have here? Joker Soul Dragon, of course. We had anyone else come through? Second Gaming, Regina, Brutal and Christy, Clavis. Thank you all for dropping by. Great to see some great friends here who've been a big part of the journey. For myself as the content creator here at the Wyvern's Lair, this has been Dungeon Master Wyvern playing the beta for Warhammer 40,000 Dark Heresy. See you here again soon for the next adventure. Good night, everyone. Good night, Queen.